Jeez, we even had a choppy intro there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another part. This is episode 3, or day 3. I mean, it's not actually day 3, but it's day 3 of me actually playing Repentance, and I think we'll probably finish it today. Oh, that's interesting. My heart progress didn't reset after daily went over. I didn't actually realise they must have been doing that for a while, actually, with the renewable hearts. But yeah, so we'll be continuing along. I was going to do an episode yesterday, but it's been very busy, obviously. Right in the middle of the move now. So I think we might finish today. Just because I really need the next couple of days clear, to be honest. It depends, though. I might be able to squeeze in another episode. Oh, let me turn this down slightly. I might be able to squeeze in another episode tomorrow or the day after if we really have a lot more to play through. I do have a friend, though, who played this patch last night. Was talking to me casually about it in Discord, and he said that I only have 1 instance left. I thought I had 2, to be honest, based on the number of achievements. You know, you'd think maybe it's like 2 in 1 instance and 3 in the other or something, but maybe not. Maybe it's 1 big instance. I mean, I think he did say it's actually quite long. 1 instance, 5 achievements. That's like Season 2 level stuff. So yeah, we'll go through, we'll play. Sorry about this, getting my home stuff. I actually feel kind of bad at the moment. Like I said, in these episodes, I ranted and raved about how much I played Guild Wars. I have done every weekly set of rifts. Every single weekly set. Because I really wanted to get that AP. And I have had the entire time... If we go to rifts, where is it? This, Iron Marches, I missed a T1. Before I even really knew how the rift system worked, when I just thought they were available all over the world, back when Secret of the Obscure came out, I did a T2 and a T3. I did not do a T1. When obviously, T1s are really easy to get for anyone out of the loop. You don't need other players. It doesn't cost any money or anything. It's very, very, very simple. And I didn't do it, only to discover over the past 3 months that, you know, they're on a weekly schedule and stuff. Iron Marches was last week. I've had this outstanding for ages. I just needed to tag a single T1. I had an entire week to do it last week. Iron Marches finally came back for the first time, and I missed it. Last week was the first week that I missed Rift. Oh god, I feel awful. I wonder what the weeks, what the stuff is now. My plan was yesterday. I was saying to myself, look, you should really get on and get it done. Like before Sunday was over. I was going to do it early in the morning if I could, and then I just totally spaced on it. Ended up playing a bunch of Monster Hunter Wilds. Kerry bought me a game as well called Tunic, which I was playing a bit of. It's basically Zelda, classic Zelda, but pretty. And I just totally spaced on the whole thing, and so now I've missed it. That also means I didn't get my ASS and all that other stuff, but it's the rifts are brutal, because once you miss one, it could be like another 6 months. I don't know what the actual schedule is, but it could be a long time before you see them come back. Anyway, oh man, my mouse is doing this thing again. Didn't I talk about this in the last episode? It was fine, though. And now suddenly it's not. Maybe it's because there's a little bit of grit there. Yeah, it's weirdly echoey in this room now. You know, it's amazing. You take a few posters and pictures and, you know, stuff off of the walls. And, and suddenly a room gets so much more reverby. So quickly. The other thing that's now all sorted is my fish tank is completely deconstructed. Kerry told me someone was asking a lot in the last episode, like, what's going on with my fish. This is really weird. Did I tell you guys it was sick during the POF stuff? I think I... sorry, PoE stuff? I think I did, because I think I remembered on a stream... I think this was on a stream... talking about how I felt really bad because it was getting very ill, and there was nothing I could do to help it. Nothing. And yeah, unfortunately, he did die, but I had a bunch of shrimp, which I sort of had to sort out and, you know, rehouse, let's say. And yeah, so basically now, you know, the desks are getting very empty. Very weird period, you know. But exciting at the same time. One of the next things I've got to do is start taking the monitor arms and things off. But yeah, so busy. Lots going on. And let's just jump on in. So, well, no, let's not just jump in. So let's recap real quick. In the last part, we learned a lot. My take on the patch right now is I'm very impressed with it in terms of the backstory, the lore, the world building, the amount of readable material. You know, actually, I do just want to take a second and assess this. For a long time, for years, like during Season 1, during Season 2, during Heart of Thorns, during Season 3, for those periods, and Season 4, actually, for years, what I just described there really is the game's, let's say, heyday, right? I was always saying I want more lore, I want more readable stuff. Season 1 kind of had the short stories, but they weren't quite in-game, and it got a little bit messy, what players were supposed to know and what they didn't know and stuff. I just wanted more interactables, and whenever we got interactables, it was always the best thing in the world. I always applauded it when we got them. I just wanted more and more and more. I really do think Secrets of the Obscure and Janthir Wilds have hit an incredible bar for that. If you think about all the pickups and interactables in every single map, frankly, you know, especially, you know, Arenanet was full of it. I think they've done a really good job, and I think this map's been really decent as well. You know, we're finally at the Masat City, guys. Barbanissos. We've been hearing about this place for years in the lore, and it does feel like they put a lot of stuff in. So I'm very impressed with the map so far in terms of you know, just quantity of things and things to learn. I haven't got a complete grip on all of it yet because we've kind of just glossed over a lot of it, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more to come. That I'm very impressed with. The rest of it, though, the actual instances, it's all been pretty basic. I don't know how captivating the map is in these 3 lanes. Here's one thing we could do. We could check on LFG. We could go to the Janthir Wilds. Oh, there's not even a... They didn't expand LFG for the map. That's interesting. I mean, I mentioned at Christmas, I think, well, New Year's, this whole setup is broken and they should change it anyway. But yeah, so I was going to say we should have a look and see on LFG how many meta maps there are for this, whether it's a really good farm map. You know, because I'm not opposed to this thing. Like, you know, look at Palawadan. Palawadan comes out. I'm not opposed to it having really crazy rewards for its release window, and then they rein it in Gyala Delve or whatever. You know, if it feels active and fun to farm and stuff at the time. So yeah, I don't know. I think the story is good, and I think the background is really good. The instance quality and the map size feels like it's suffered a bit, but the writing team is really popping off in my opinion in this patch. So I'm satisfied by it, but I do sort of see how other people feel like it might be a little bit lackluster. But yeah, so that's just my thoughts so far. Wow, what's going on?
Quality armor.
Oh, there's the line. They all said thanks. Yeah, I just read in Spud Discord that there's a reference to that in this. So wait, what is this? Astral Ward Skirmisher. I worked hard for this gear, couldn't resist showing it off. Right, where'd you get it? It's scavenged obsidian weapons. Sorry, I scavenged obsidian weapons and materials for crafting true sight armor. They can be found here in the Mistburned Barrens. Can you tell me more about the weapons? Right. I mean, some of these bigger things about the patch, in terms of like getting the AP and collecting all this stuff, I'm not going to have a good grip on very early. Oh yeah, this was another thing in the patch notes. A bunch of the core relics have been added. They actually have good tooltips. I haven't looked at this. Increased strike damage to low health enemies. Interesting, it's 10%. Wasn't that 7 before? Wasn't Eagle 7? Maybe not. Earth, magnetic aura. I'm just trying to see if these are any different to what they used to be. Having proper tooltips for these effects is nice though, because you never used to. You used to just have that one line. So altruism can proc every 20 seconds. Did that... well, hold on. I thought altruism had a really famously low ICD on it. Am I misremembering that? I'm pretty sure this, the fire T6, was always 7%. Summon a golem. They didn't add any stats to it. The tooltip's broken as well. It's not wide enough. So the 60-second cooldown is overlapping. Create a laser disc after using elite skill. Actually, do you know what? I didn't know that this applied to bleed each tick. I didn't know that. The jagged horror. See, I mean, look at this. This is... I think I posted about this on Blue Sky. I'm a bit weird about Blue Sky at the moment because... You know, I wanted to sort of... I don't want to be a complete negative Nancy, right? But I did criticize this. What is the... You know, as far as I remember, a lot of this stuff went away when we were moving to the Relic system. Arenanet said that they needed more time for a bunch of these things. It took them a year and a half, right? It's been a long time now. They've finally been re-implemented, and I said on Blue Sky, you know, are these the exact same? Like, what have we been waiting for all this time? I thought the idea was to assess them and improve them, you know, do a bit of a balance pass. But if they're just getting dumped in exactly as they were, then they're going to be shit. And this is the example I gave in that tweet. The Relic of the Lich T6 always looked thematic and kind of cool. Like, if you're playing a minion build, this is kind of the logic and the joy of all buildcraft, isn't it, really? It's putting disparate pieces together to build, you know, something that's synergistic. Whether that be a flavor synergy or whether it actually be a, you know, just strong. So, you know, Lich runes. Oh, cool, I'm going to play a minion-y guy. I'm gonna be a Lich, and I'm going to have this extra summon. But it's a Jagged Horror. Jagged Horrors are awful. It's on 60-second cooldown. This looks terrible. And I was really thinking, oh, this is an opportunity for them to look at stuff like the Lich Relic. But on the preview, they said nothing about it. It looked like it was exactly the same. So I put this tweet up saying, what was the point? What have we waited a year and a half for? And it looks... I mean, yeah, like, why would you pick the Jagged Horror over the Rock Dog? Ogre was always good. It was paired with, you know, a bunch of other really strong things. So where do these actually come from? Craft them or purchase them from the TP? It's 5 AP for this. You get the Parrot as well. Parrot was very cool. In certain metas and certain balance patches, it was basically broken and way too strong. I have some fun memories of PvP with that, where you just get this killer bird, squishy but incredibly deadly bird that could just chew people's faces off. I also, the Golemancer one, I have memories of this being really strong in PvE. I remember farming COE, ironically the dungeon that drops it. But I remember fighting, you know, in all the explorable paths in COE, you fight Subject Alpha, but every time in the middle, there's that golem that you fight, surrounded by turrets. One of the turrets gives him retail, one of the turrets gives him regen, one of the turrets gives him, like, prot or whatever. And I remember playing the dungeons, and we all summoned these, and they were insanely deadly for, like, I don't know, a period of a week or two. And they do that barrage attack and just melt. Oh, it was so good. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird as well, by the way, to see, like, the Hollow Relic. Why is the Hollow Relic in this set? That's an elite specialization relic, right? Like, you don't see the Relic of the Firebrand here or anything. What? That never made it? That's so weird. That's not a core relic, is it? In what way does that fall into the core category? Vampirism was okay sometimes. And again, it's nice to have a tooltip. I think these are the same, guys. These look rubbish. Surging used to be okay in PvP. This is one of those things. Surging makes me think about when PvP was really good. Fun times. Lissa was a big mainstay back then as well. Alright, well, yeah, okay. Then the armor is True Sight stuff. Unlock 6 pieces of True Sight armor by crafting them or buying them on the TP. Yeah, I felt a bit bad on the New Year's festival this year. I was spending crazy amounts of legendary luck, like heavy amounts of legendary luck, and only to realize the stuff that I was spending all that luck on could be got on the trading post instead for like pennies. Oh, it wasn't just the legendary luck, it was like raw gold I was spending as well. And then, right, so these guys are all just saying the same thing. They're just demoing the gear to us. This is, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a bit of a mainstay. Something that Arenanet end up doing a lot of, you know. Maybe they'll do it in Guild Wars 3 as well. Oh, speaking of Guild Wars 3, guys, did you see the announcement for this new MMO? I would love to see in chat anybody who knows about it. Now, if you go over to the Spud Discord and go to the Guild Wars 3 channel, I actually made a post in 2 different channels. I posted, look at this picture here. Have you guys heard of this MMO, Chrono Odyssey? It might be shit. It's slating itself to be an actual MMO. You've always, you know, look, I'm no fool, all right? I've been around, I've seen enough MMOs promise the world, have amazing trailers, have amazing graphics, amazing this, amazing that. and then they fall over. There's so many ways in which an MMO can fail, all right, that it's very difficult to be excited about new MMOs. I'll tell you one of the only reasons I'd be excited about a Guild Wars 3 is because it would have Arenanet attached, all right? And Arenanet does mean something. Arenanet has real cachet to me. I know that some of you guys are complete misers and will sit there and bitch and piss and moan at everything, but their gem store practices and their monetization models and stuff are very fair. I do have trust that, you know, Arenanet aren't going to sell you power creep and all that kind of shit. Like, you can actually trust this company. You will trust them that they'll support the game for a very long time. Like, they're not going to just nickel and dime you in the way that, you know, you're completely out in the wilds when you look at any other MMO, right? Like, they can be so excessively grindy or anti-consumer. There's no trust at all. I actually do have trust when it comes to Arenanet. Like, I know that they might have made mistakes in your opinion here, there, or wherever. But so I would be very excited about Guild Wars 3 because it's attached to that studio, and that studio has a lot of credit for me. When I see something like this Chrono Odyssey, it looks amazing. You watch the trailer, you look at the Steam page. Oh my god, it's incredible. It's like, you know, do they have the experience? Are they really going to make it? Whatever. So I don't know how excited I am about Chrono Odyssey. It looks cool. It talks a big game. And of course, that's the first thing an MMO has to do. It has to talk a big game. But anyway, I just wanted to pull attention to this concept piece. This, to me, screams... Now, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but as a Guild Wars nerd, when I saw this picture, and I posted about it in the Discord, this, to me, is Queensdale in a modern game. Huh? Look, Guild Wars 3 might not be in the same time or place as Guild Wars 2. Right. In fact, I like the idea it's on another world completely. I think Tyria is a bit cooked. But anyway, look at it. Doesn't it? This feels like we've just come out of the house at the start. You know, you've just made a new human character. You've just left the house. You've spoken to the medic of Dwayna. She said, "Go help people around the town." Look at that. You got the bridge. You got the. We're on a hill. You got a bridge nearby across a river. You got the big windmills. That's Queensdale. That's what. And I thought, oh my god. And it's funny. I saw this Chrono Odyssey thing, and I thought, I'm so ready to see what Arenanet are making next. Replace DR with that man. Well, the DR would not be in shot, would it? Really, it would be behind the camera or to the right, really. And you know, there's vague gestures, suggestions of mountains and stuff. But yeah, it's great, isn't it? Anyway, what the hell got me to talking about that? Something just happened in game. Oh yeah, we were talking about. So look, they'll do a Queensdale, and there'll be characters like this standing there to demo the gear that you can get in New Queensdale. Oh hey guys, just a remake, right? We're talking about remakes of Guild Wars 1. We talk about remakes of Guild Wars 2. Sorry, remakes of Guild Wars 1. Let's talk about a remake of Guild Wars 2. Actually, I feel really weird at the moment. Obviously, I've wanted to do lots of Elder Scrolls content for you guys for years, and there are big leaks at the moment that the Oblivion remake, an Unreal Engine remake of Oblivion, might be getting announced and might be coming out this year. And I don't know why. I think I do know why. But I feel like awful about it. I feel really terrible. One, because I haven't like worked my way up and just shown you. I love Oblivion. I really do. It's like this very special thing to me. I know it's not like a uniquely special thing. Lots of people love Oblivion. But I know a lot about, not necessarily Oblivion itself, but in terms of like modding Oblivion and all the cool things you can do with the engine. And like I've always had big, cool, exciting ideas about Oblivion and wanted to share it. And you know, the fact it's a bit old now kind of makes it a bit more special to me. And now it's like, oh, there's this remake coming out, and it's like, oh, fuck, you know, it's like... something. I'm twisted up about it in some weird way. Like, it's exciting, obviously. I hope they get the UI just right. I think the Oblivion UI is my favorite, most nostalgic UI in any game of all time. You know, with like, the sense of the parchment and all the sound effects as you tab around, and all the beautiful, like... what are they? Gregorian symbols and stuff, you know, almost like stained glass or like pagan art for all the skill icons and class icons and stuff. That UI is incredible. It's such a sacred, amazing thing to me. I hope that the Unreal remake... I mean, it's weird, isn't it? I mean, what are they going to do? Because the other thing that's very nostalgic about that game is like all the voices and stuff, all the NPCs, but they can be a bit janky and it can be a bit stilted and a bit weird. Are they going to keep all of that? Are they revoicing the whole game? Is it just Cyrodiil's rendered a bit differently? You know, because there's the whole Skyblivion project as well, which has been tackling a lot of those questions too. But fundamentally, it is built on Skyrim and is going to feel a bit like Skyrim at the end of the day. You know, Oblivion is dated, and there are just definitely bad ideas at play, like the level scaling and the ideas they had for a lot of like the actual RPG mechanics in Oblivion just suck. They just suck. It's like, are they going to preserve all that in the remake? What's the game here? Is it because it's not a remaster, right? It's a remake. So anyway, I don't know, but I feel very weird about that whole thing. And yeah, of course, everyone's talking about it with Guild Wars as well. We've got the Guild Wars 20th anniversary coming. Exciting, exciting. They actually alluded to that in a blog post recently as well. Can you deliver this for me? Oh, that's just heart stuff. All right, whatever. Anyway, there you go. I think that covers hellos. 20 minutes of gibber. Let's, there's a letter. Did I read this? A niece's letter. Veils of the inner and outer councils. Oh, she's speaking to the, Mesmer Collective, I suppose. She is. She's saying, I write to you from our camp in the outer ruins of the Masart city of Barvanisos. The Alliance's progress into the city is stalled, blocked by some unusually potent magic. There are pockets of spectral agony and tides of mistburn that come and go. It is a cursed place. Mabon knew this, so he kept the island warded. And the 9 of us have had the esteemed pleasure of serving alongside the late Fifth Veil. And though few of you may yet harbour feelings of mistrust, because these people didn't know he was a Masart, right? He was hiding among them. Though few of you may yet harbour feelings of mistrust at his deception, I know some of you do not. Some of you do not. Like me, he recruited some of you into the collective shroud. Oh, I like all their terminology. You rose in the ranks, you tutored in spellcraft and arcane protections that my most tempered exemplars would envy. Normally, I would pluck one of the more experienced Shroud members for a lesser job, but in this instance, I wonder if any of you, someone else who carries Mabon's flame, might dust off your boots and step up to the mark, awaiting your response. Oh, we're going to meet another member of the collective who's going to come over here. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if that letter had been written there already and I just missed it. Hopefully I hadn't.
Countess?
Alright, let's see what we got. You know, when I first met him, I wasn't sure I trusted him. His motives seemed hazy. And she's doing the ponder emote. But Livia trusted him, which meant something, and she was right. My fears seem silly now.
You were being cautious. Even Mabon had reservations about his own kind.
He's made that clear. You could have heard it. You could hear it in his voice. What are we missing, Mabon? We don't have time for games. The Alliance is growing impatient, and not just Livia and Ludo. I like how Ludo's got so much prominence.
Well, the only place I haven't
been mentioned
yet is
multiple
the central
times.
region. Not exactly a lead, but...
It's all that's left, says Anise. Commander, sorry to be so maudlin. I love that word. I'm sure that this feeling of helplessness will pass eventually. I'm a little bit... That conversation made it sound like we're in the city proper. We're not really, are we? I hope not. It just suddenly occurred to me that the next map might not be the city. The city. You know what? I hope it feels somewhat like Ore when we get there. In terms of scale and grandeur and sense of history with all the place names and POIs and stuff. I'm sure this feeling of helplessness will pass eventually. I get it. I didn't know him long, but I could see Mabon was special. You must have quite the extraordinary picture of Mabon from your few encounters with him. He wasn't always plagued by this much excitement. He could be boring too. Those might be the moments I miss the most. Oh my god, I'm reading that terribly, sorry. But it's because I don't know when the conversation is going to end. You know, when they're going to take the bubble away. Politics is a strange world. Makes you question motives. Which people care more about me or what I can do for them? Once I came to truly know Mabon. That was never a question. He was genuine in that regard. And you two are very alike. I believe you would have grown to be dear friends had time allowed for it. Well, he certainly made a lot of impression on many players. Okay, sorry about the horrendous reading there. This is why voice actors deserve to be paid and not offset by AI. Oh?
The blight persists in our lands. Rest will not greet me until it has settled.
Walk this path together, we do.
Sorry, I've been bad with chat again. We just have to take that as a given at the start of these episodes. Unlikely, but what if Arenanet made a mini Guild Wars 1 expansion, then a year later Guild Wars 2 follows up with an expansion 200 years ahead, tying into and resolving Guild Wars 1 plot lines? Oh, you mean 200 years ahead of Guild Wars 1? Your comment there took a huge curveball. God, there's too much dialogue. Sorry, I'm trying to read chat and then the game's just exploding conversations at me. What are they talking about here?
And they very much enjoyed it.
Hold on, let me read that. That seemed interesting. He was breathing heavily. He says, alchemy. I've sailed many a perilous storm I have, but nothing compares to that. What in the blaze has happened to you two? And they said that there are pockets of concentrated mists energy all over the isle, resulting in these magnificent isolated wind tunnels. And that they send the journeykin soaring. And Liz said knew you'd come through for some reason in the middle of that.
Make it stop!
And now there's more talk from the event. Yeah, look, I'm probably, you know, I have a very distinct feeling right now that I'm being very, I hate this dialogue cutting across the entire map. I'm nowhere near the event. I mean, I'm a little bit near it. I can feel myself being a fool even saying it out loud. As a Guild Wars 1 fan, would I be excited about a mini X-Pack to Guild Wars 1? Yeah, I would. But I want Guild Wars 1 to be like, you know, EverQuest 2 or something. There are a lot of very old MMOs still getting updates. You know, like Lord of the Rings Online getting expansions and shit, right? Like, I want Guild Wars 1 to be a product like that. I don't see why it can't have content updates, you know? But then I don't know the finances, I don't know the dev enthusiasm, I don't know, you know, this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure there's reasons. To me, it seems like a very obvious and fun thing that, you know, once every couple of years, we could get something. You know, even if it's quite small. I don't see why... You know, you can say, all right, it was a mistake to stop with the live team when Guild Wars 2 came out. That's one thing, and that's a great thing to analyze and see. But then to say, well, that's forever. It doesn't really have to be forever. And you know, I think that I've said this before. I'll say it again. I think there's two strengths to that. One is Guild Wars 1 is a good game in its own genre, really, and it does have more to give. And there is a fan base for it, a new fan base that isn't just Guild Wars 2 fans. Right, it does extend Arenanet's reach, their consumer base. It does keep things rolling along. And I think that's worth something. And it does have avenues for monetization as well. You know, they've got their little gem store in there. But beyond that, because look, we're not just talking about a quick cash grab. We're talking about like long-term development for that game. And look, if they actually release content with some kind of monetization with it, you know, like here's a new outfit. If you want to support this, please buy it. The first one they do, they would get lots and lots of people paying in, definitely. But what about the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth? Who knows, right? Like, and the reality is it would probably shrink and shrink and shrink, and it's like, is it really even viable? But anyway, there's that side of it. But the other side, really, and I've said this many times, it's just, I think if Arenanet was actively supporting both games with content, whatever their third offering is going to be, and there will be one, I think it will go down very well with a lot of people. I think they'll say, well, look, they're supporting all their games, and this doesn't mean anything bad for Guild Wars 2. I think that they need to be very careful about their new announcement, because they don't want to, because people are crazy. I think they have to be very careful. People are like really attached to their Guild Wars 2 accounts, really attached to their accomplishments. Like, these nerds treat this shit like it's a house that they bought, you know, like they really, and they want it to be there forever and supported forever. And they didn't just play for the fun of it, and they didn't just buy gem store items for the things that they immediately bought them for. No, they did it to buy into something that has to exist for their entire adult lives. That's really how a lot of people treat it, and there will be a lot of animosity and angst and anger about it. But if Arenanet prove themselves as a studio that supports multiple products, and there's like a climate of that, you know, especially sort of a jubilant feel of, oh, they've just gone back to Guild Wars 1 and stuff, and it's decent. I think all those pains go away immediately, and I think that's really important. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for it. But what do I know, really? You know, whenever I talk about this, it's like, would I like a Guild Wars 1 expansion? Yes. Did what I just say make sense? Yes. Do I really? I mean, because if it makes that much sense, why isn't it happening? There must be something else, you know, like, I don't know. I'm probably not the person to ask. I'm too biased. I'm too close to it, you know. I'm probably vastly overestimating possibly vastly overestimating the number of people who actually give a shit about Guild Wars 1. You know, if you asked me that last year... Sorry, if you asked me that a year and a half ago, I would have said, Guild Wars 1, you're just nostalgic. That's what I would have said. You're just nostalgic. It's not that great of a game. The lore wasn't that great. The story isn't that great. The gameplay isn't that great. You're just nostalgic, blah, 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 blah. But I have to say, last year, I got really fucking into that game. Like, properly into the game. Like, working on titles and shit. Like, actually genuinely into it. And now that I had that experience last year, I'm a bit more of a fanboy for it. I'm a bit more like, no, do you know what? It's not all nostalgia. It's not all, like, empty nothingness. There's actually something good there. Really good. That still stands up in the modern age. And again, I point out all these examples of other very dated old MMOs that are still getting content. Why can't Guild Wars be kin to that, you know? Anyway, let's actually progress a bit here. Sorry. You got me ranting there. I read one major message there, and you sent me off on one. Is there anyone at Guild who could still work in Guild Wars on still at the company? Of course, yeah. I think that there's this weird vibe out there in the Guild Wars community of just fucking negative bitches, basically, that act like there's insane company turnover with all the old hats and no one's there anymore that worked on Guild Wars. And that's all horse shit. All right, that's all horse shit. You really got to be careful. Look, be careful listening to jilted Guild Wars 1 players. You know, the kind of people that don't like Guild Wars 2, the genre that Guild Wars 2 is, the ideas that Guild Wars 2 has. Guild Wars 2 does have a lot of dodgy design, and they made a lot of mistakes over the years, right? And it's not the same game as Guild Wars 1. So there's a lot of these wankers out there, basically, that say, oh, nobody even makes it anymore, that's why it's shit. It's not that. It's a lot of the same people are still there. But then that's another thing, though. That's a fallacy of itself. You can't just say because they're the same person they could work on Guild Wars 1. What does that mean? You know, we're talking about a 20-year-old game, right? But at the end of the month, 20 years. What, you think they're familiar and au fait with that code base, right? You think they know a goddamn thing about it? You think even in terms of, like, from a design level, they remember specific nitty-gritty little things, like we were talking about on the last episode with, like, talking about the merits of armor ignoring damage and stuff with balance. You think they remember? It doesn't matter if the same people are there or not. I'm telling you there are the same people, but it doesn't matter. It's 20-year-old spaghetti that you're asking them to look back at. And, you know, someone who was there... What's the thing? I was there when it was forged. Someone who was there originally might have a slight upper hand, but at the end of the day... When I think about Arenanet and potential turnover, because again, I don't know. I'm over here in Europe. I've got no idea. But I tend to think of it as like, you know, fresh talent, interns, new people that come on and they use the company as a stepping stone, right? Because, you know, it's not the highest paying thing in the area or whatever. That's what I think a lot of the turnover is, if there is a lot of turnover. Aside from that, and obviously you had the big story of the layoffs and stuff. Let's play the game.
Very funny. But like Anise said, there's no time for games.
Wait, what happened? I didn't even see.
I wonder if my war claw could pick up on any leads. Worth a shot.
Oh, nice. We're integrating the war claw into the story a little bit here. Was Mabon there, like, doing a ghostly gesture? Was that a thing? There's a trace of wisp magic. This trace amount of the wisp's magic appears to pulse in the direction of the ruins. Okay. This trace amount of the wisp magic, but yeah, okay. Same again.
Even if they can't tell us about the mistburn, they're still worth studying.
Actually, oh, on the mini-map it's showing, actually. It's showing. Good job, Warclaw. You know what I quite liked in Monster Hunter? I could name my mount, my secret. I called it Classco, by the way.
Follow your nose.
The nose! It appears as though it lingered here by the rubble for some time. Oh, there's... what, and I want to read this journal, maybe? This is Ulrich's journal. Did we read this one already? Yeah, we did. We read that one already. So what did Mabon do here? Don't know. It seems to just be leading me on, so let's get led on. Who doesn't like being led on, guys? Oh, I see, actually. It's like there's a little, almost bird flapping its wings. It is! Look! It's like a little bug or something. This is a bit like following the ravens from Icebreed Saga, just recolored to blue instead of yellow. See? See? I mean, it's totally that, isn't it? Okay, follow along.
What is it?
Find the final part of the magical signature. Well, let's harvest that. Look at how quick that harvested, honestly. I'm loving it. You know, there's like, oh god, I won't get into it. I've been really thinking a lot about like how friendly this game is to alts and the unending mission to account bind. Well, not ending. They tackled it as best they wanted, didn't they, years ago? But you know, I've always thought it was a mistake. I'll stay on the record. I think it was a mistake to do as much account binding as they did. I think much more of the game should have been character bound. I think it would have lasted longer. I think people would have reveled and enjoyed making new characters more. Anyway, you know, they've done so much over the years in the name of being like alt character friendly. And what do I see we've got out of that? What do I see? I see a lot of people still just refuse to play other classes, right? They have their class, and if they see other classes are in the meta and people are stacking other classes or whatever, that's it. They just get angry about the balance. And I'm not saying it's good balance, but, you know, people still just stick on their one character anyway, you know, because that's what a lot of people like to do in an MMO. They like to, you know, have their character and their one identity in the game, and that's it. So does it really affect much? Because all the complaints and issues and pain points that come from that still exist today. You can't question balance and say, well, the game's really alt friendly. That's not a line of argumentation people like or respect. So we don't really win anything there. But what else do I see? The game's still not really that alt friendly. You know, like I set up all these bags and stuff recently. Whenever I play a different character, I'm always like, ugh, I can't gather very quickly because I don't have all the gathering tools, right? And I don't have the cool glyphs on it. Bag space and like specifically how you set up your bags is such a massive thing as well. You got build template slots and equipment template slots as well. They're all impediments to being all friendly anyway. That just mean I'm kind of just sort of lingering on lists lately, even though I sort of want to play more characters more regularly. So it's funny. I feel like there's this big quest for it, but there's still like pretty substantial things in the game that sort of mean is Guild Wars all friendly? Is it really? I don't know. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? Let's just keep following. No, it's flying in this direction. And now it's flying to the left. Aha.
Lead the way.
We found it. The trace of the wisp stands still, seemingly looking down from the edge of the platform to the ruined city in the distance. You sense sadness. Whatever happened here is powerful. This is kind of weird. I feel like we sort of already did the bit where we're following Mabon and seeing what he was grieving as he went to Manakaz. I guess there's more though, right? So, alright, well, let's head on down. There's another memory wisp here.
Good job, you. It wants us to follow it into Bavanisos. Ugh. And we're back to square one. Anise, I located another wisp, but it's leading me into the city.
Of course it is. Hold tight. I'll send it back up to examine the area. Surely we've overlooked something. I don't really get this weird vibe in the story like we've exhaustively searched everywhere. Look at this. It's fucking massive area. Giant ancient city. Filled with like detail and interesting things going on, and we're acting like we've, you know, we've explored all avenues already. Okay, this is clearly a library. Is this... Okay, I was told in the comments that these dusty tomes... These are the ones we want to read, because these are event-based, the dusty tomes. And these go away. So that's about the obliteration of a Parvim. We read that before. This dusty tome over here. So we want to... While this event is going on, we want to do this quickly. That's the hunt for Isgar and the Mask Scourge. Oh, God. If there's one thing I like... It's reading lore on a time limit. If there's one thing I like even more than that, it's reading lore on a time limit while being attacked by mobs. Oh, he referred to their gains as ill-gotten once the Titans came and wiped them out. That was nice hearing them speak lyrically about the Titans. Propaganda pamphlet. I don't remember clicking one of these. Bavaniso stands as the greatest city in all of Tyria, and that is thanks to our benevolent and uncompromising vision of a grand future with the Messiah as the rightful shepherds of the land and its denizens. No, we did read that. We read that one already. Let's try this one up here. That's a dusty tome. 11 seconds left. Oh, no, that's the Parvin one again. So, are there only a couple? What about this soiled page?
That'll do it. Let's get underway.
Yeah, we read that. That was about the spider or whatever. I think the dusty tomes are likely gone now. Interrogation log. Yeah, this was, they were torturing that seer, Mazio. I think it's a seer anyway. And they just kept singing. The journal fragment, I'm pretty sure we read. Yep.
Escort duty.
Oh, there is still another dusty tome, but we read that one already. I don't know. Let's just continue with the story then. I guess we've read everything there. I mean, I don't think we have, because I have the achievements for more, you know, objectives to collect. Let's see. Alright, penance for the past. Actually, we're immediately in an instance. So is this it? This is the last instance? God, did we stop right near the end on the last episode? Alright, here we go. We can take a quick breather here to go look at chat. Yeah, hello everybody. Hello, welcome, welcome. You would say so. Start an alt in FF14 and you have access to absolutely nothing. But it's not really the same. In FF14, like, you're making an alt to re-experience the story and things unlock in a satisfying way. I think that game does alting way better. Because, like, you actually get to indulge in a proper progression. Like, what do you want from your alt, right? Oh, I just want to have the whole map instantly explored and all the story instantly done and whatever. And you kind of can do that in FF14. You pay for the privilege, but a skip is, like, all-encompassing, you know? You don't have all these weird extra layers to it, like with the bag and the fiddly shit, where, like, a couple of hours in, you're like, ugh, I don't have that, and that's basically out of my reach. Ugh, I don't have this, and it's basically out of my reach. Ugh, I don't have this, and it's basically out of my reach. I don't know. I feel like that game understands alts much better. Yes, it takes things away, but it's so that you can experience the game again. I don't know. This game is weird. It's like you get none of the joy of re-experiencing the game because shit's all unlocked. You have all your mounts, you have this, you have everything that's just basically breaks it. But you also still have massive impediments to your convenience. So Guild Wars is just like in this weird halfway house where it just... there's nothing, you know, like, I don't know. I think they really, really failed with the logic of a lot of it. They're pushing Expansion 3 to October because it's entirely Mad King themed. What for this? The next mini-X pack's going to be Halloween Mad King themed. Alyssa's previous chatter was that she saw Mabon's wisp stay behind. Ah, did she? Hardy says there's a lot to do in the library in this instance for your information. Ah, nice. The story journal provides more details about the first story instance where we sail with Pokey. Could it be an additional story instance that was cut? Ooh, really? I've been getting that vibe from a lot of the story journal. I think the first time it really hit me in the face was the final End of Dragons one. The Cycle Reborn. This described a lot of stuff at the Dead End Bar that kind of felt like it didn't actually happen. Let's read this. Into the Valley of Shadow. That definitely is this patch here. Still haunted by Ura's cryptic words. What were Ura's cryptic words? So there was the argument. We talked a lot about that. Who or what exactly was Mabon was pursuing in his memory? I'm afraid we might find out. Yeah, what was Mabon pursuing? And there was kind of maybe a suggestion that he wasn't all great. Still haunted by Ura's cryptic words. I can't remember what she said. She said something about... I can't remember. Anyone in chat want to fill me in on that? Something about them returning to the Forge. She did say that, yeah. Still haunted by these words. I received an update from Countess Anise. The Tyrian Alliance, Astral Ward, and several Lowland Codan volunteers have teamed up to survey Janthir's Northern Isles. So far, they've managed to push into the outskirts of Bavanisos, yet they find themselves unable to enter the city gates. Anise has requested my aid and asked that I rendezvous with her, Isgarin, and Waiting Sorrow at their base in the Isles. Furthermore, I've been tasked with escorting Pokey to the meeting point. Rather than reaching the location by the convenience of magic, we'll be travelling by boat at the Cub's naive insistence. For both our sakes, may we have fair winds and following seas. I met Pokey for our departure at Thunder Bay Point. I warned him that although he'd been on shorter boat rides around the Isles, this trip would be a trying one. However, he brimmed with so much excitement about the prospect of his first real voyage that I could almost forgive him for signing us up on this unnecessary headache. But my patience soon ran thin when he spent the entire first part of the trip singing old Lowlander sea shanties. Yeah, this didn't happen in-game. It doesn't sound like there'd be any gameplay, but, I mean, you know, like in End of Dragons, where we're on the skiff with Navan and chatting, or with Rama in the city and chatting. I could definitely have imagined this with Pokey, and it would have been really, really cool as a playable thing. It kind of feels like, I mean, we can call it a cut thing, but I would say, you know, this is kind of amazing, actually. This is the story journals just giving us more detail about the story that we missed. Around his 5th verse, or this is kind of an interesting, like, fundamental idea they could roll with, you know? This is like the expanded... This is like reading the book, but playing the game is watching the movie, you know? Around his 5th verse of tap the cask and down the hatch, I threatened to toss him overboard, but that's when the winds began to pick up. I managed to keep us on course, but the increasingly choppy waves made this no easy task. Poised Arrow aided me as best he could, but grew unsettled by the strength of the storm. To his credit, he held his own longer than expected. Then he retired to the side of the boat where he spent the rest of the trip heaving. Yeah, none of that happened in-game, but it's cool that it's there. I like it. Extra details, right? After what seemed an eternity, because, you know, what kind of gameplay would that be? After what seemed, unless they were thinking of like a whole big new mechanic where you navigate waves on a skiff and stuff, but, you know, there's, as we said before, you'd be renting the skiff. It's not really the skiff expansion. After what seemed an eternity, I'll tell you what, guys, if next mini-X pack is water-themed and is the Largo City and all that, which would be my favourite idea. You know how they pick a pre-existing mount? First it was the Sky Scale, then it was the Warclaw. If the next one is water-themed, there could be a big skiff update coming with it. And they might have had some design meetings about the idea of an instance here, and be like, how can we add a bit more gameplay? They might have something cooking about the skiffs, right? All in service of a Lagos thing. Go on, clip it. I'll see you in 6 months when I'm proved completely wrong. Anyway, after what seemed an eternity, we made it ashore. Both of us were worse for wear, but Poised Arrow was especially shaken. I doubt he'll be pining for another sea voyage anytime soon. Experience is the best teacher, as they say. Upon arrival, we met Isgarin, Anise, and Waiting Sorrow and formed a plan of action. In addition to the survey team's difficulties accessing the city, Isgarin pointed out that the spectral agony still plaguing the area would be the cause of further complications. I could already feel its heaviness just stepping foot on the isle. Waiting Sorrow proved very attuned to it, sensing a particularly large well of the agony pooled in the northern part of the Isles. Validating her instincts, Isgarin confirmed that the area had been the site of a significant battle in the war between the Seer and the Massart. With that being our only real lead, we directed our search north. So I set out north. My surroundings seemed to slump, as if burdened by the weight of foreboding and grief. Desolation stretched out in all directions, punctuated only by the occasional flora or fauna. Seemingly endless, scouring turned up no results. Just as I was mulling over how to break this disappointment to Anise, I saw it. A glowing wisp, or at least, that's the best way I can describe it. I contacted the Countess, eager to finally have something to report. I made to investigate the wisp more closely, but Anise strongly advised that I not follow an unidentified entity off into unknown territory. Level-headed as always. I'm headed off to reconvene with our party and eager to get back on the trail of this mysterious sprite. So I set out again, this time accompanied by, this is the first instance, Isgaran, Waiting Sora and Poised Arrow. Despite Isgaran's protection, the spectral agony began to weigh on me and Pokey. We had nowhere near the level of agony resistance that the wizards do. Actually... Oh, I pressed H. Actually, I have 162 agony resistance. Could be more, but I don't have... I'm not a big fractals guy, and I don't really have... I nearly always spend my fractal relics on, like, infusion, the plus nut, which is a huge waste. And I don't have much progress towards fractal god, to be honest. What were we doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, nice! It remembered my tab and everything. No, it didn't. Just put me to the bottom. We had nowhere near the level of agony resist that the wizards do. I guess actually that must mean they've got 200 guys, 300, 400 AR. They could play, you know, T7s. But Agony's ache was soon... I'm sorry for being so cringy. But Agony's ache was soon replaced by a new concern, whispers. A voice, familiar yet unseen. The hushed echoes haunted us the further we went. And then, just like that, the wisp appeared once again. This time I examined it, although I was still unable to identify it. Waiting Sorrow suggested using the Heart of the Obscure. I was skeptical to say the least. Sure enough, the heart set things into motion. All at once, we were surrounded by countless Masark ghosts. We'd triggered a spectral ambush. This is crazy. They put a lot of effort. This is like reading a book, you know? This is like actual literature. Sometimes it's just cliff notes. Waves upon waves of ghosts swarmed us. After we finally felt we'd put a dent into them, the worst of them appeared. You're gone. She seemed to harbour a particular hostility toward Isgaran. Later, he told us that her anger derived from her death during the Seer Masart War, a death for which Isgaran was responsible. That's kind of a bit of a lie, by the way, a bit of a white lie. Wasn't the war over? They invented spectral agony, they lured the Seers over, they killed them, Sidoni's dead, the Masart essentially won the war. And then Isgaran went rogue and well, he'd already been exiled, is it going rogue? Isgaran just took it upon himself in the cooldown of the war to assassinate Yagon. I mean, we can say it's a party to the war, so whatever. You know. A death for which Isgaran was responsible. The two kept at each other's throats throughout the fight as we fought off the remaining ambush. Our surprises weren't done just yet. Pokey drew our attention back to the wisp. Only now it took the form of an old friend, Mabon. What appeared to be a memory of his began to play out. We watched his arrival in Janthir in the aftermath of the Titan destruction, his pain and frustration palpable. As the vision came to a close, we eventually broke our shocked silence with the agreement to return to Anise. The revelation hit hard, for Waiting Sorrow especially. It seems Isgaran had known who the voice belonged to. Why did he keep that to himself? Well, speaking from experience, the only thing more haunting than the memories of past enemies are those of past friends. It's weird. It's like the commander's really... The commander is speculating. They're writing and reflecting in their journal. Okay, so anyway, that was day one. This is day two here, basically. A legacy damned. Our party regrouped at the base to inform Anise of our unexpected reunion with friends and foes past. Our development surprised her, to say the least, but it was the news of Mabon that hit the hardest. Compounded by the Alliance's increasing impatience, I certainly don't envy the pressure that Anise is under. That being said, if any good came of Mabon's surprise appearance, it was to provide us some much-needed direction. We've decided our next best move is to try and retrace Mabon's steps. In following his path, we hope to gain some insight, and that's what we're still doing now. We hope to gain some insight into what we might be overlooking. It may be a bit unconventional as far as leads go, but if Mabon left such memories behind, it was certainly for a reason. As I took my leave, I was advised by the Alliance's researcher Rin to direct my search south, and that's just what I plan to do. So did we go north, south, and now we're middle? This is the general structure of the thing. Venturing southward, I had kept my eyes peeled for signs of Mabon's presence, and sure enough, not long into my search, I discovered a wisp hovering near some bloodstone. Unsure how exactly to proceed, I consulted Waiting Sorrow, who suggested using the Heart of the Obscure on the bloodstone. Her advice was less reassuring than I would have liked. Still, I threw caution to the wind and gave it a go. Surprisingly, the interaction yielded a letter. Odd, but preferable to a spectral ambush or an explosion, the letter spoke of Manakaz, the unhinged Massart researcher, whose ghost I had the displeasure of meeting in the Sanguine Crater back at the expansion's launch. Okay, she didn't say that last bit, but you know. Apparently, he and his lackeys increased bloodstone sacrifices just before the door of Kamali was open. More lives ended in vain. List doesn't reflect on the fact that Manakaz clearly regretted that and felt terrible about it. And he's just like sunk cost fallacy going further and further so it's not in vain. I continued exploring, encountering a few more wisps here and there. All seemed to have anchored themselves near the bloodstone shards scattered across the area. With some help from the heart, I uncovered a historical text, and shockingly, the ghosts of 2 of Manakaz's victims. Judging by the deep-seated terror that haunted them, even in death, I can only imagine what torture the blood phenoms subjected them to while they were still alive. One of the victims provided me some extremely useful information. She pointed me in the direction of the Golden Lake. According to her, Manakaz hid there in his final days as the city fell. Now that I've gotten Wait and Sorrow up to speed, I'll be making my way there, though I'm none too eager to run into the executioner himself. ... After arriving at the Golden Lake, I was caught off guard by its strange serenity. Like the eye of a storm, if you forget the turmoil surrounding it, you could almost mistake it for peaceful. Yeah, we can go fish in there and everything. But the illusion was short-lived. Again, I used the heart on a nearby bloodstone shard. This time, it brought to life memories of Manakaz's death. His dying shrieks echoed across time as he was torn asunder by his pursuer. Yeah, so this was a big mystery. Someone came and assassinated Manakaz. And we're thinking it wasn't Mabon? Could it have been Mabon? I mean, that's the obvious answer, isn't it? Mabon visited the place after the Titans died. Was there something in that instance that suggested it couldn't have been him? Not much later, I found myself staring down the very same fate. Is that going to be his great crime, that he murdered Manakaz? Oh. Like the commander doesn't do shit like that every day. Not much later, I found myself staring down the very same fate. A Titan champion, not in memory but in the flesh, appeared before me and began closing in. And just like with the Mount Barrier patch where you had that little fight with a Titan, it was small and underwhelming. And we got an achievement for doing it. Fortunately, backup arrived. Waiting Sorrow, Poised Arrow, Anise and his Garen sprang into action. With a coordinated effort, we beat back the beast. Curiously, this Titan didn't seem to share any kind of resemblance with Decima or Greer. Ah, I missed that. I didn't even really... I sort of got that it was a new model. It was a new variety of Titan. I remembered... I don't know if I said it out loud, but I remember thinking this looks new. I think because I wasn't totally confident it was new, but it felt new. But what I didn't do in that moment is I didn't then draw upon that observation and think, okay, does that mean it's got a different master? Ooh, a suggestion of another Titan. Fortunately, backup arrived. Waiting Sorrow, Poised Arrow, and Aces, Garen sprang into action. With a coordinated effort, we beat him back. Curiously, the Titan didn't seem to share any resemblance with Ura, Decima, or Greer. Was there any spoken dialogue about that? And I just missed it. You would have thought that they'd have the characters remark on that out loud. Call attention to it. I didn't want to jump to any conclusions, but the implications made me somewhat uneasy. There was little time to dwell on the matter. We'd barely beaten the thing into submission when a wisp made its appearance. The wisp floated into a chamber in the ruins, as if goading us to follow it. Now, accustomed to its game of hide-and-seek, we followed. When we reached the end of the chamber, it rewarded us with another of Mabon's memories. We looked on... No, yeah, it wasn't Mabon, because Mabon came and found the corpse. Mabon didn't assassinate the thing, because we watched Mabon walk over there later and find the body. And he was happy that Manakaz had died, but he hadn't done the deed. So the question is, who did the deed? And my guess would be one of this other, like, faction, let's say, of Massart. Dada, Orestes, one of these guys. One of these people that disagreed. I mean, Orestes, in a lot of the writings around here, has been very blatantly like, fuck you, Manakaz. Now, accustomed to... Blah, 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 blah. We looked on as Mabon visited the site of Manakaz's then recent death. He cursed the corpse of Manakaz, damning his heinous acts. In the heat of his denouncement, he was interrupted by a new present. He called out, and the vision ended with Mabon in pursuit of it. See, so I'm guessing Orestes or whoever... Maybe Dada assassinated him and was still in the area when Mabon got there. And then Mabon was like, oh, and ran off. Maybe they had one last chat or something, you know? This must be... look, I think the assassin is the lover, you know? You know when Secrets of the Obscure came out? Soto, whatever. Soto. So when Secrets of the Obscure came out, you know, there was this note about someone he loved. He barely had... After he ascended, he forgot all this shit. Wait, hold on, though. Oh, hold on. What's the timeline here? He's already ascended, isn't he? He's definitely already ascended. This is... The Titans wiping out the Messiah is pretty recent history, all things considered. When you look at the Wizard's Court, it's all pretty goddamn recent. So this is post-Ascension Mabon. So, let's see. He has a life. He has a love. Blah, 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 blah. These memories of blood and ribbons of crimson or whatever the line was. He gets ascended by Isgara and basically forgets all of that. The Titans wipe out the Messiah. He visits the city and I think he reunites with her. I think he's found her again in a brief moment here. But they obviously never became an item, or she never taught him anything about who he was or anything. Something came between them. Because obviously then he just went back off to the court, didn't he? Is there a chance he was just secretly chilling with her all this time? Did she hide among the Mesmer Collective just as he did? I don't know about all that. Anyway, so we were interrupted by a new presence. He called out, the vision ended with him in pursuit of it. Shaken by these revelations, Anise especially so. Why Anise especially so? We decided to regroup at the base once we found our bearings. Who or what exactly Mabon was pursuing in his memory, I'm afraid we might just find out. And here we are. Multi-R, the channel sponsor, thanks very much. Also, I noticed we did have some members before I even went live. John, thank you, man. John, you've been so supportive of so many of these live productions that I've done over the past 6 months. Thank you. Thank you for still being here. Thank you for still doing that. It's incredible. There's very, very little membership and people just getting members for themselves and stuff on YouTube. I've tried to make it enticing, but, you know, there's just not a culture for it here like there is over on Twitch. So the fact you're doing that is just, it's incredible. And everyone who's been doing that, thank you very much. Alright, so then today, so yeah, we're still just following the Wisp. Why is Anise extra riveted? Maybe it is a Mesmer Collective thing. I visit the Countess after giving her space to process recent happenings. Normally confident and collected, it was clear that Mabon's memory pained her. I'd done my best to provide her a supportive ear, but aside from aiding in the Isle's exploration, I was afraid there was little I could do to lessen her burden. As I was prepared to depart, I noticed that Anise's parting words were drained of her usual cunning. Yeah, I tried to do that in the voice acting, guys. I don't know whether you picked up on that. Again, it was subtle. I'm quite a subtle worker, you know. But you could hear it just a little bit. That's why the direction was a bit weird, you know. It was on purpose. As I prepared to depart, I noticed that Anise's parting words were drained of her usual cunning. Equally deflated, I set off towards the one area of the island our party had yet to explore, the central region. I trudged along, mulling over the situation, when my thoughts were interrupted by a wisp flickering into view. This time I was in no mood for its caginess. Thinking on my feet, I realised I'd been overlooking one of my most trusted allies, my Warclaw. With its refined nose to guide the way, we recovered the scent and were back on the trail. As soon as I had the sprite in my sight, it darted off towards the door of Bavanisos, the door we'd still been unable to breach. I informed Anise and used this moment to have a look around as I waited back up. And here we are. Look, that took a while to read. Anyone watching this in playlist view and has just gone episode 1, 2, 3, that might have been really boring, sorry. But that was actually super useful for me. It was really nice because, you know, we're having these days in between each episode. All right, I'm in it. I'm in the zone now. I'm locked in. In we go. Mabon, what are you showing me? An above.
Now what? I guess I could just forge ahead. Or take a moment to look around.
Dude, if there's nothing that says Guild Wars Living World to me, it's walking down a corridor and suddenly being ambushed by spiders that, you know, drop down around you. That just feels so Season 2 to me. It feels a bit Guild Wars 1 to me as well. Overbearing Massart Ghost. Interesting. Who's the overbearing Massart? So, this is the room with a bunch of interactables, is it, that you guys explained in chat? In Janthir Century 2, there are Ruin Shard Titan spawn with a different theme than the 3 we know of. Also, could Isgarin be the assassin? That's why they tease us the identity. Well, what's the story there, though? I don't understand what the what's the big drama. Isgarin went and assassinated shit, what's her name? The inventor of Spectral Agony. Yagon. He assassinated Yagon. Okay. So then he assassinated Manakaz. But the thing is, it doesn't track with Isgarin, right? Isgarin is an enemy of the Massart. The Massart beat his people. They fucked around, and now they've been wiped out by the Titans. Why does Isgarin care? Isgarin doesn't give a shit. I mean,
I have just learned that Yagon is dead. Felled by the seer exile.
Isgarin? Her mind had abandoned logic if she willingly pursued the masked scourge.
I would expect no remorse in your tone, Overseer.
Her spectral agony killed his people's premier. Yagon was never going to win that battle.
dude, nice. I like it. Yeah, let's get some Massart debates going. This is really good. Yeah, so look, Isgarin doesn't give a shit. Years later, when the Massart finally will get wiped out, I mean, maybe in some tokenistic way he might be hurt on behalf of Mabon, but I don't think that's his character. He's cold and he's... I really don't think he'd care. I don't think that Isgarin would come and assassinate Manakaz. If anything, he's probably rooting for Manakaz destroying those people from within. You know, in a kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and clearly Manakaz and his ilk are doing a bad thing here. I wouldn't be surprised if I could rewind to Hell's Precipice, but instead of being at you know, it's Guild Wars 1, we're right there at Hell's Precipice, but instead of being at the Fire Island Chain, we have a look at the Wizard's Tower and we look at Isgarin. I wouldn't be surprised if he's having a little toast, you know. He's celebrating, he's having a little drink for himself. He probably was happy that day. Right, what's this? There's a dank nest. Well, I doubt we'll get much lore here. So touchy. Found 1 out of 17 interactive objects. The stench coming from this makeshift nest of filth is nearly overwhelming. Makeshift, obviously. It writhes ever so slightly in a disturbing fashion. Take a closer look. You peer closer, resisting the urge to gag. From somewhere under the muck, you hear a deep, intermittent growling sound, like the noise of a very empty stomach. Oh, guys, this is going to be good, isn't it? We're going to be getting, like, books and journals and things, but also just, like, little interactables. You know what? You know why the Dermot Priory Special Archives was so good? It wasn't just because it was all, like, lore books and stuff in there, but it was also... And don't forget, that was before they even had lore book UI. It was all done through the dialogue UI. But it wasn't just that, but it was because you could interact with artifacts, right? Paintings on the wall. Like, little, you know, alchemical devices. You could see shit like the Abaddon statue or the Awl, the Anti-Kythera mechanism, or the, you know, Zaitan's tail and stuff. It was all those other little bits, and so I sort of, you know, these aren't unique models or anything, but this all sort of adds to it, I think. Emily, thank you so much for the €5. Someone's got to pay me for that superb voice acting of Arenanet. Thank you. I would love to do a voice for Guild Wars, but as I've said it before, I would do something like an Etin. Something where all I have to do is just like grunt. Ooh! Ooh, me, angry. Like, arguing with himself. Just something stupid and dumb and base. I think that's where I would shine.
Might be onto something.
Oh, God. I don't want to accidentally progress, though. All right, Dusty Tomes. New info, though? Not the same Dusty Tomes as in the open world equivalent. The Hunt Summons. The Master...
feared Isgarin. Oh,
it is the same information as in the open world. disappointing, but also is an escape valve from all my sneering criticism about how annoying it is to read all this shit with enemies fighting you. Well, just do it in the instance, right? So there is an answer to that criticism. So we've read a lot of this already. I'm going to interact with all of it for the purpose of the achievement, and we'll hear Liz reflect. That was nice. I'm so tempted to read it again, but I can't bring myself to doing that. People will say I'm padding the episode. My gut is to read it again, but, you know. You can raise the voice of a Massart raised by an Etin. I think the Massart are too good for that. It would come of age and it would realise it's destined for more. It's like Tarzan, you know. And eventually we'll have him walking around in a suit. A treatise by Nia Grinvald. Yeah, we read that. Where she was kind of attacking what we knew of as history. There were some great comments on that.
What now?
There were some great comments of that in the Spud Discord, by the way. Essentially, you know, recognizing that's a nice way for Arenanet to kind of in-game, or in a modern way, I should say, because that's the more important thing to me. So say, you know, what you think the history is not necessarily the history, and, you know, it is a very Elder Scrolls-y kind of way of doing things. I think it's a difficult thing. It's a can of worms when you tell your stories in that way. It's also very handy for the writers because it allows them to shuffle things around and retcon things, which I don't begrudge them. You know, we're talking about media the last 10, 20, 30 years now. You need to have a little bit of flex, a little bit of wiggle room. Elder Scrolls goes very, very, very hard with, you know, personal biases and the fact that many sources of history aren't really relevant. Sorry, accurate, I should say.
Don't touch that.
Oh, it sounds like a lady, Massart. She's following me, by the way. I thought I was following her, but she's following me. This pile of discarded clothing is soiled, but the style of the garments is like nothing you've seen before. It seems strangely intact, given how old they appear to be. Nice, I like that. That's cool. Yeah, I do. I imagine that Massart clothes are like all magically infused and very ethereal, and I like how she got annoyed with me touching it. Strange tablet. The bulk of text on this.
What does it mean?
The bulk of text on this stone tablet is written in a form of the Massart language too archaic for you to read, except for 4 stanzas written in the common tongue. So when it says too archaic for me to read, does that mean even for the Heart of the Obscure to read? Because usually the Heart of the Obscure just jumps in for me at this point. So this is even outside of Waiting Sorrow's expertise? If indeed the Heart of the Obscure does represent her expertise, which we don't know if it does. When birdsong trills in a crisp, clean air and new life springs from soil fair, we call to thee. Then comes the warmth of sun's embrace to glint upon upturned face, we summon thee. To catch the leaves before their fall, one must hearken to arbor's call, we offer to thee. And last, we feel the cold wind's bite, and end the Sion mother's spite. We welcome these. So it's the seasons of the year. Right? And then it says Barboza. What does it mean? That's what Liz said, and that's what I'll say. Barboza. Sorry, guys, am I being real life ignorant here? This isn't a word This is a Tyrion thing, right? This is a part of the con world. Captain Barboza! From Pirates of the Caribbean? From Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and the end of 2? And then 3? He's amazing, by the way. Did I start playing Elder Scrolls Online? No, it's a thing I'd like to do.
Could that be?
I've always said I would like to, you know, to look into it as a stream series. I'd love to play it with you guys. Just like we're doing a project on 14. The 14 project has become, like, obscene, right? For people that don't remember, I actually did Lord of the Rings, then FF14, and we were going to keep moving on. But then 14 ended up this epic thing, and then we had a break for a few years, and then I've just gone back and I've covered in all the holes, and now we're kind of replaying our way back up. Once we are done with it, though, I mean, yeah, I'm super down for Elder Scrolls Online. Keep an eye out on the channel. Barbosa means big beard in Spanish. Arr, me mateys! You were waiting for the pirate voice. Oh god. Have I become predictable? You'd be fascinated to see what I think of Iso.
Killed the seer leader and turned the war. No wonder Iskarin hunted her down.
I'm interested in it, yeah. I am interested in it. Oh god, that just made me think about the Oblivion thing again though. Do you know why I think I feel so bad about all that? It's because time is running out. Because I've had years to get on top of this shit. I had years to do a great LP on Oblivion, a game that I love, in a time frame where the audience would have seen it and enjoyed it for what it was. As soon as that Unreal remake's out, it's kind of like... I feel like it's getting taken away from me or something. I think that's what it is. Anyway, the Ceremony of Passing. We read this already. Archsteward Salsa, you know, was the mate of Yagon and held the ceremony. She was assassinated by Isgarin.
Let's put that nose of yours to work again. Just in case.
Well, hold on, maybe, but give me a second here. I want to gather more information. Why has this still got a notification on it? What does it mean? That was really good. She also sounded really annoyed by those spiders a second ago, which I also thought was quite cool. Oh, look, it's a Masat bust. A life spring talisman. You smell blossoming flowers and the taste of... and the sweetness of fresh fruit. The taste of sweet fruit? There's a puzzle on the door. Best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best time today is... Yeah, no, that's all well and good, but it was going to take a long time to get through up to that. There's 2 games at least before that. Time has ran out. Now look at the door. There's a puzzle at the door. What, this door? What door? There's a great many archways and corridors. Wow, I only just realised corridor has the word door in it. I know it's not spelt the same, but it's clearly derived from it. 1 O instead of 2. What door? Daggerfall's a big undertaking. Well, actually, I mean, I've been really nervous. I haven't talked about this at all because I don't want to set anyone's expectations. But I've made a shit ton of progress on Daggerfall, so actually that's not too bad. But you look at those up; they're all big RPGs, right? It's just a big thing. The pirate door, where you read the poem. These busts are associated. Sorry, what do you mean? A door where I read the poem? Wait. Oh, this poem. Oh, you're right. Interesting. There are Masat seals. I think these are literally Masat seals, by the way. Like, you pick up small scaled down versions of these in Ember Bay, I think. God, that was a really nerdy observation, wasn't it? I think I'm right about it, though. I really do. You know, there's that achievement to get all the Masat tokens. I'm pretty sure it's the same fucking thing. But they're just little. That's from all those hours of staring and scrutinizing the pixels of every fucking little rock. Like, is that one of the tokens? Anyway, okay, so I guess we find all the busts and it turns all the lights out. Oh, and there's one for each season. Oh, yeah, of course there is. Because that... I guess we just got spring. Oh, we probably got to do it in order. I think what's going to happen is the next one I interact with, it's going to reset and it's going to turn all the lights on again. We need to do it in order. That's the first one because we're going through the year as they have it. So it's going to be spring, summer, autumn, winter. And we're just going to have to remember what's what. In fact, look, there's a... they're actually marked. Spring, this one's midsummer. So this one's correct then, if I'm right. Yeah, that light went out now. That didn't do it. Oh, it must have. There might have been like a toast on screen that I didn't read. Okay. Some rotten meat on the floor in here. Should we feed that to the animal? Is that a thing, maybe? Why'd there be random rotten meat in here if it's not to feed to that? Where is it? I'm always scared to mount. I know that it won't take my environment object away from me, but I'm still nonetheless afraid. Where was it? It was like in a corner where we entered the place. Thing is, I've sort of lost perspective of where we came in now. Was it in this corner? Yeah, here. Do you want some food? It worked! Hunger crazed Morello. Oh, I don't want to kill you. I just wanted to feed you. Hunger crazed. I gave you some food. Oh my god, I feel like I found a real secret there. That was cool. It'd be so easy to just ignore that meat and just think of it as, you know, just like an environment object, like a pile of gunk that you'd find on the floor in ore or whatever. Find and defeat the Hunger Crazed Morello. There are 3 hidden threats in the ruins of the Veiled Library. There's an imprisoned jade armor, and there's a source. There's a spider infestation as well. Well, that's a shame that the dialogue, the text didn't change now that I've killed it. But okay. So I think the only thing I want to avoid really is that big green starburst in the middle. Let's check this wing then, I guess. There's a Masat monument over here.
Don't touch that.
Oh, it's the same dialogue every time. That's funny, because the first time I heard that, I interpreted that as like... they were really disgusted I'd touched these soiled clothes, right? But no, it's just... they're annoyed that I'm getting handsy. This distinctly shaped monument is weathered and worn, making the glyphs engraved into its surface mostly unreadable. Using the heart, you can make out the words heroic and sacrifice. Wonder if there's something more to this. Heroic sacrifice. This is a good instance, man. This is my jam.
All of the efforts spent retrieving the mist's skid. And we cannot open it. The door of Kamali is about to burst at the seams. But there's no escaping it now. I hope they're watching. Wherever they are. Home. You sent us to die.
Oh, so good! Oh my god! They've just explained in a very concrete, comfortable way there. Okay, so very clearly, right? The door of Kamali is going to open. The Titans are going to wipe them out. They've got 2 plans. Keep the door shut, and then there's also this mist gate. And they're trying to escape back home. That last sentence is fascinating there, by the way. I hope they're watching wherever they are home. You sent us to die. I'm still not clear whether it really is Nyos. Now, wait. I know what you're thinking. The blog post was very clear they came from Nyos. And there was some text in-game as well that talked about them coming from Nyos. I get it. I guess that's the fact that they came from Nyos. But they still sometimes... there's sentences like this where it's like... is the expectation they've all moved on? I guess here's what I'm proposing. That they were all in Nyos. Nyos is going to shit. I mean, we saw it last year. Nyos is not a tenable place. So the Masar all tried to emigrate, basically, to different places. Tyria was one potential location, and there were some others. And very quickly with Tyria, they realized, oh, this place is doomed. Elder Dragons, Titans, whatever. So we'll just we'll exile some here. And then everyone else moved on. Do you understand? Like, which would lead to this sentence here, right? I hope they're watching wherever they are. Home, you sent us to die. If it was just Nyos always, you'd expect them to just say Nyos, right? What does he mean wherever they are? You know where they are. They're in Nyos. So I don't think it's that. I think that Nyos was the original thing. The whole place got messed up. And now there's a new home for them in the mist. A bit like the gods finding a new home as well for the humans or whatever, tending a new garden. That's kind of what I'm getting at. What do you guys in chat think about this? Coming from Nyos doesn't mean it's something they called home. Yeah, I kind of... That's sort of my general timeline in my head. That they were originally at Nyos, that it became an untenable place to live, filled with demons or whatever. You know, they even talk about the air being, like, thick and oppressive and stuff in those. I don't know, maybe the Mists aren't like that, but I don't think so. It's not like they live in spectral agony and all this bleak shit. They invented it to fight the Seers. But yeah, exactly. So Endmaster64 says maybe they split looking for a new home. That's kind of what I think. So it's either all of that or this last sentence is just a bit iffily written. But I'm going to give it the respect of saying it's not iffily written. Anyway, the other thing, the gate. So yeah, the gate. Guys, this gate's kind of fascinating, isn't it? They retrieved it. They didn't invent it. Before this patch came out, I was thinking Dada. I was thinking Manakaz was like a researcher with a laboratory, and he was figuring out shit to do with the door, right? And bloodstone sacrifices and stuff. Meanwhile, Dada, wasn't she a researcher? Didn't she have a title of a researcher or something? Anyway, I was thinking of her as like Manakaz. She's also an inventor. She's a tinkerer. She's this magical creator, and she was creating the means to escape. She had a plan to escape. She wanted to get home. She wanted to leave, right? Escaping was the main thing. That's how I viewed her. And through that, I always thought, well, look, the Massart are going to invent a way to open a portal and leave or whatever. They're going to find a way. Like, they're shackled here to Tyria. The gods could leave. Why couldn't the Massart leave? Fucking Lord Odrin could travel the mists, right? So mist travel is a thing. I mean, Christ, look, the Consortium are traveling the mists, all right? There's lots of mist travel going on. But the Massart are stuck here, so Dada is magically finding a way to get around there. Anyway, I always just imagined that they would invent a means to get out. Or fail in it, and she's just exiled herself or whatever. That's what I always imagined. But no, look at what this patch is revealing. There's a gate, and they didn't invent the gate. They didn't create the gate. They didn't build the gate. They retrieved it. They took it from somewhere and brought it here. So the gate is now this amazing mystery box. Who made the gate? Where's the gate from? I guess big candidate for... This is like... it's not going to happen, but this is what like a Guild Wars Mysteries video would be, right? Guild Wars Mysteries, the Mistgate or something. I don't like doing videos on stuff like that anymore. One reason is when it's based in Living World... I say Living World, sorry. When it's based in modern plots, there may be an answer to this in 3 months, right? So, you know... But, yeah, like one candidate for this maybe is the gods. Maybe the gods had a mist gate. Maybe it was in Ore. They retrieved it from Ore or something. All of the effort spent retrieving the mist's gate. So what's quite interesting, wouldn't it be amazing if they tied this to Siren's Landing? Because Lazarus was in Abaddon's reliquary, remember? And the Eye of Janthir was in Abaddon's reliquary. What if the Mistgate... What if Abaddon had the Mistgate? What if the Mistgate was in his reliquary? It had been hidden away there. It would explain why Lazarus went there. Why did Lazarus go there or had access to it? At the end of Season 3, why did we go to Siren's Landing? But Lazarus clearly knew about the reliquary and stuff. Wouldn't it be kind of cool if he had gone and nicked the gate? But then again, Lazarus was much more of a... keep the door of Kamali shut kind of guy, wasn't he? Also, why would Abaddon be the one with the gate as opposed to the other gods? I don't know. I don't know about that, but I'm just saying the Siren's Landing connection's interesting. They even have that, you know, we've been hearing about that Sylvari that was on Siren's Landing in this patch, right? Dagonet. They're talking about Dagonet. Last we saw Dagonet was in Siren's Landing. Feels like there might be something there. So yeah, I'm going to guess that the Mist's Gate, it's from the gods. The reason why the Massart couldn't make any progress leaving for the first 9,000 years was because the gods hadn't arrived on Tyria yet. But as soon as the gods got on Tyria and demonstrated they could travel through the mists, the Massart were like, I want in on that. And they sneak around and they fact that, again, I said this in the previous part, I think the Massart would go to the gods and they would say, hey, can you help us go through the mists? And the gods, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I'd like to be a fly on that wall, the gods said no. The gods gave them a middle finger. I don't know what that is. Oh my god, this is actually too good. This is actually really concrete. All right, let me just propose this to you guys. You're the gods, all right? You are one of the human gods. You've got a way to travel through the mists, okay? Let's say it's a mist gate. Once you all go through the gate, what do you do about the one... You're going to leave a gate behind, aren't you? You're going to leave the... the entrance that you used is going to be stuck. I'm talking very concretely here. I'm assuming there's no magical MacGuffins that can fix this. Like, you're the last one out. You're Lissa. You're the last one leaving. Once you step through that portal, there's just going to be a mist gate left on Tyria, unguarded, because the gods aren't there to do anything with it. I mean, yeah, there's lots of ways around it. You could ask the Forgotten to do shit for you. You could do, yeah, all right, there's things. You could summon constructs or whatever. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a gate left on Tyria. It's going to be hidden away, and you're going to say, you need to hide this. I don't want the Massart finding it, or anyone finding it, really. I don't want the mortals mistraveling like we mistravel. Hide this gate. So they hide it. But the Massart know that one must exist. Dada knows there has to be a method. Dada has seen the gods come and go. And she's saying, there is a way out. We need this fucking gate. And here's this Massart ghost. All the effort spent on retrieving the gate, and we cannot. And then they couldn't even open it. I think we've cracked the case there, Watson. Yeah, and if there's a thing with a keystone as well being mentioned in chat there, and we know the gods were involved with Bloodstone shenanigans. I don't know if it was Lissa that stayed for this. Lissa is the last one out was just an example. Personally, I'd say it would be Dwayna, because she's the leader. The captain goes down with the ship. She should be the last one to leave. Something like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm pretty on board with that. I can level up my mastery. Nice. Yes. Thank you. Massart Ruined Delving Improvements. What a mastery name. You gain additional curious Massart Ruined shards when completing of it. That is... mastery system. It's been a long time coming, guys, but we finally got it. We've got the most bare bones mastery you can possibly imagine. They're done. They've thrown in the towel. That's it. Arenanet has thrown in the towel with this. Fuck it. Here's some more currency. That's it. There's nothing else with this. There's not like a random... You know, like in the Icebrood Saga, they were like, oh, we'll put random boons on everything. Oh, we'll just... anything. No. This is it now. Screw it. We don't give a fuck. I mean, I think it's fine, to be honest. It's just the whole UI is terrible. The mastery system is one of those brilliant little stories of Guild Wars to me, where it's like there was a good idea and it got killed by the committee. Too many people had a say. Too many questions were raised about it. It got boiled and distilled down into like a nothing of a system. That's the mastery system to me. That right there, that's them thrown in the towel. I've never seen a mastery like that. Yes, in the Icebrood Saga we had more rewards masteries, but they're always bundled with a shit ton of other stuff. This is nothing else. Z says I buy it. The thing about the Mistgate? Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying to see if anyone else... other comments you guys have about it. Is mist travel synonymous with traveling to other worlds like the gods did? Or are there two levels of dimensional travel? Mist and this gate. To my mind, they're synonymous. It's always a bit vague and wishy-washy, though, and I'll repeat myself on this. I think some of the most terrible lore ever written for this game is the world versus world lore, because you've got all this cool shit about mist travel and being stuck here, and then it's like, okay, world versus world. They tried to, like, canonize world versus world by saying, yeah, this is the mists. They're, like, echoed copies of Tyria, like, multiversal versions of Tyria. It's really bad stuff. It's like, ugh. You know what, Massart, if you want to go home, just fucking head on out there, man. I'll see you over in the Heart of the Mist PvP lobby. We'll do a couple of fights in the Rumble Pit, and then you can be on your way, you know? Like, there's certain things that are a bit... So maybe Arenanet are going to go an extra mile to add, you know, extra caveats and convolutions and things to this. Anyway, what's the last one? Improvements to survey methods increase reward yield from grand chests when completing. I mean, even this one is just increased rewards. And again, I think it's fine, but I think this would work better if it was like a tree. You know, like you know the PoE passive tree, right? You know, the passive skill tree in Path of Exile? I think that's what the mastery system should have looked like. I know that sounds like a really annoying, stupid thing for me to say, because that's a huge feature and it's like a big part of the identity of the game, and we're just talking about a small facet of Guild Wars or whatever. But that general idea, you know. It's an actual tree, and you've got lots of little nodes, and then, yeah, a single node can be slightly improved rewards, and a single node can be slightly improved rewards, you know. Lots to click, lots to interact with. This thing where it's more points every time it goes up and all that shit, I don't know. I don't really believe it. Hey WP, how you doing? You finally beat the victory or death mission without the bug. Nice! Did you do anything, or did you just keep gambling? I'd love to hear what your solution was. Because, look, in another year, someone else might come along and talk about it, and I can give them your solution. All right, okay, so let's do it. So this stolen journal, I might have already read this. Spectral agony, our undoing.
Yagan deserved to die for bringing such vile magic here.
Oh, Liss is very on Isgaren's side here. Very on his side. That's good. I never expected that. Of the many weapons within our enemy's arsenal, Spectral Agony continues to prove itself the most dangerous and terrible of them all. I think we did read this. Yeah. But who is, It's titled Spectral Agony, Our Undoing. Oh, right. So Isgaren's speaking to seers. Actually, let me reread this. Isgaren is speaking to other seers on a council, a seer council. So let me read this. When he says our undoing, he means us, the seers. This is our undoing. Of the many weapons within our enemy's arsenal, Spectral Agony continues to prove itself the most dangerous and terrible of them all. Not only does it inflict the most excruciating pain imaginable without a single wound, but because the Cruciatus curse and all that, but it also saps the victim's will to fight against it, crashing down on them until they can no longer think of anything but the pain. That the Massart would even devise such a spell speaks volumes about their capacity for cruelty and savagery, and it gives our people every reason to oppose them at every turn. There can be no reasoning with such beings, no peace that can be brokered when such methods are employed. Isgaren's a bit of a warmonger here. The Council would do well to heed my call on this, even in my exile, lest we find ourselves grovelling before these foul beings and their ultimate weapon of control. We must act, and act now. There can be no compromise. Yeah, but would they listen to him, exiled as he is? Shit, I can't remember, guys. We don't know why he was exiled. Do we? I really can't remember. Why was Isgaren exiled? Do we know that? Is that another little mystery in this right now? I'm just trying to rack my brain. Why would he have been exiled? Was it about his handling of Legavo and Mulmud? I don't think so. Oh, Waiting Sorrow's ascension. You're right. Yeah, he ascended Waiting Sorrow. No, I think the class is right. He got exiled for ascending her. I'm sure. Well, he regretted it. But yeah, I think it was that. I think there was a journal about it. He got exiled for ascending her. That's crazy, man. He lost everything for that. For her. Yeah, okay, so we do know. It's interesting, the Seers seem a bit... The fact that they would even discuss and deliberate here when the Massart have got this crazy weapon, and the fact that he would be exiled for something as innocuous seeming as they're waiting. Like, they're very principled. That's how I see the Seers. They're very, very principled and very lawly and very, you know, they might have lost touch a little bit with reality because they're still, they're playing fair or whatever. They're trying to be, like, attain these high-minded ideals, which is great and a beautiful thing, but sometimes doesn't work tangibly in the reward. And maybe Isgaren saw that. And he saw, look, sometimes I had to ascend Waiting Sorrow, right? I had to break the rules here. But the Seers were too, like, inflexible, right? That's kind of how I see the two. Anyway, it's really good. The more I learn about the Seers and the more amazing, cool, specific details we're getting, the more, sorry, the Massart, the more it makes the Seers look interesting as well. Okay, so the spider nest. We want to kill the spiders. This mound of web appears to be undisturbed at the moment. Whatever made it maybe elsewhere. You get the eerie feeling there's something out there watching. Oh god, guys. Don't look now, but there's a spider on your chair. Ooh. There's a soiled page here. So we actually get a body this time. There's a woman dead next to this. In thief armor, by the way. Which I guess makes sense for a plunderer of sorts. And she got killed by the spider, I guess. This didn't really make sense to me in the open world. So there was like some kind of expedition here. Scully and Ajay. I don't know these names. I wonder if I wikied them what I'd see. Basically, they were pirates that came here looking for treasure and just got killed by some spiders. I like this, you know. All these stories feel like they're just these massive grand conspiracies, but then you get something like this. It's just as simple as it looks. This overbearing ghost is still just like up my arse constantly. Okay, there's the arboreal talisman. What would I do to lure the spiders out? Maybe like a fire if there was a torch or something? Or I don't think they want me to just climb up, do they? I don't think so. I'm gonna see what the name of the last one is, because that could be winter, right? Boreal. And then that monument, I guess, is going to be the jade armor. I'm really enjoying myself right now. Lots of little puzzles. Fun things to discover. There's a desiccated corpse over here. Oh, and I'm being attacked by spiders. More spiders. Because of course we've already been fighting loads of them.
Don't touch that.
The body of a man dead for many years. The corpse appears surprisingly well preserved, making it almost impossible to tell how long it's been here. Disturbing. Definitely don't want to walk near that. There's a torture collar. Can I pick this up? This savage device appears to have been used around the neck of a victim to keep them docile. There's still dried blood on the spikes. Brutal. Oh. Once they had spectral agony, they didn't necessarily need stuff like that anymore, did they? There's 6 spider ambushes. Oh, it's just kill all the spider ambushes and you get it. The spider puzzle is the most obnoxious one. Interesting, okay.
Sure, we're modest.
Bavanisos, a marvel. Yeah, this is where they're saying, oh, yeah, we're amazing, we're on top of the world. And I drew that little paint thing for you guys in the last part. It says information gathered, and I've got it all now. So, let's see here. So touchy. We are missing the Mistral and the Boreal Talisman. Shit, Mistral? And I'm gonna guess... I don't know what... this is real life fucking knowledge failing me here. Okay, I'm gonna say that a Boreal is autumn and Mistral is winter. So where's a Boreal? You hear the crunching of fallen leaves and smell the acrid tang of... Yeah. And then Mistral is going to be winter. And that's so touchy done. A chill across my skin and the crackling of wood and burning fire, did that say? And now all the lights are off and we can interact with this. Ah, that's the jet. I thought... Oh, and his name's Barboza. Okay. The Harvester of Sorrow, Barboza. Interesting. He has the hardened jade effect, which is the old Endure Pain icon. Just my eyes are locked on this to see if he gets a break bar at any point. don't think he's going to. Okay, so that's Barboza done. So we need to find and defeat the source of the spider infestation. We've also got 2 packs of mist-burned enemies to find. Reindeer and bees. I love the music right now. It's a real vibe, isn't it? So the Masat monument wasn't actually related to anything. Well, there's the bees. Jesus, the reindeer would probably be outside, don't you think? So yeah, we just got to find the reindeer now. I don't know why I eyeballed that. It doesn't really... Oh, they're down there. But that's like quite further into the instance, so I assume I can kill them later. Right, spiders. Let's see what people said in chat. Makes you wonder why he felt it so important to save her when he ascended her, save her from the overbearing weight of Coda. I think in the original journal you read about it, it's just she was full of power and she was a very, very strong voice, and he took pity on her, right? And she was powerful. I think that was what it was. It was an act of mercy. But he came to regret it and agree with the other seers and say you shouldn't play God like that. Oh, Road to Dawn has a quote, by the way. It was the last straw for Sidoni. So I guess he's the kind of character that kept pushing boundaries. The lost cow is in this instance as well, really. In this room or in this instance? Because I wouldn't want to miss it. You're going to get ambushed by a lot of spiders in entrances. That's it. So it's not anything else than that. It's like if I go there, the cow is right above me. The cow is high up. Oh, that's cool. That's like a bungee Easter egg. Hiding something really, really high up. It's like the scarab gun or whatever, you know. What, like, I mean, how high are we talking here? Who would possibly come up here? I mean, I did in the open world, but to do it in the instance is a whole other level of madness. I'm holding the hotkey to show nameplates, and I'm not seeing any nameplates. I'd like to think it would be on the grass. I'm too high now. Oh, okay. So maybe... Oh, no, that's the ghost. Is that it? Oh, there it is. Nice, yeah. And it has the rift. Even Liz said something. That's amazing. And it has the confusion effect. Oh, that's very good. Nicely done. They should keep dotting this guy in here. Look, whenever there is a Guild Wars 3 or whatever's happening, the cow's got to appear there. This has become a long-term thing now. That's really good. Isgaren's first ascension was Mabon. I imagine Sidoni wasn't happy about Isgaren ascending him as Sar. So that's why Sorrow's ascension was the final straw. That's really good. I love that, Brian. I think you were bang on there. The game hasn't stated it outright, but yeah, I like that. You're right. And that's quite a sad story as well, because it's not like Isgaren is a Masat sympathizer by and large. You know, in that missive we just read, you know, he's advocating for more aggressive action. He's suggesting things need to be done. We know how history went. He ended up assassinating Yugon. But, you know, for him to have been accused or to have got in so much trouble over that, when all he did really was what he viewed to be the right course of action. Masat or not. Mabon deserved the ascension. Mabon would be a help. Christ, I don't know. Okay, we've checked basically all the doorways on this floor. I'm going to try on this floor now. Downstairs. So... Ah, good, good, good. Nice. There's some more spiders. I feel like we've done 5 already. This might be the last one. No? Or is it do all of those and then return to the nest? We went through that door. There might be one in that door over there. These guys were just talking. Let's try through here. No. I'm gonna give it a shot. Alright, the wisp. Oh, here you go. Yeah, there are more spiders. I think we're done. If this dings the achievement, we're done with that room.
That's all of them. This place.
Oh, there we go. So, she said that all the spiders are dead. I'm going to go to the nest now. There you go, spider nest. Ah! And there's a crypt spider queen. Thank you, guys. You were all offering very good advice there on that. I don't think I would have found that one on my own. Sounds like a shark almost. There we go, expert exterminator. Oh god. So we got the reindeer to kill, and then there's just 2 achievements. One is continue on Mabon's path, and the other is to perform the facepalm emote after Pokey loses his lunch. I assume that's in like a wind down instance at the end. What was it? Facepalm. There we go. Alright, so I've got that queued up now. I can just press enter, up, enter, and just immediately proc it. I've got that teed up. So there's the reindeer. Okay. I'm not missing anything, is there, guys? Oh, okay, so maybe Mabon wasn't the first ascension? Road to Dawn thinks that Sorrow was the first one. Oh, the pokey vomiting, that was the very first instance. I missed it already. Oh, I see. I see. That was day 1. That was when he vomited after getting off the boat. I gotcha. Alright, well, that's a fairly minor little thing, isn't it? I mean, I love it when we get one of these streams done. Or, you know, a little mini... These are like mini stream series, really, aren't they? And we have all the story achievements. Obviously, all the other achievements are a bit more to do, but yeah. And there's going to be stuff hidden around the open world map still that I haven't found. It'll probably be a thing, guys, where if it doesn't appear on stream, but I squeeze in a few hours to play here or there around with the move, because I don't know what internet's going to be like next week. I really don't know. Anyway, I'll Blue Sky. I'll probably have lots of posts. Oh shit! Look at this cool thing. Look at this. Look at this.
Seriously?
And of course in the Discord. Man, Liz is just not having it this release, is she? Liz is just fucking tired and annoyed. Liz, look where you are! Enjoy yourself! Beautiful. I'm experiencing the thrill of easy, quick, comfortable AP due to the fact a new patch came out. You know, you spend like, you wait 6 months for the AP from the Iron March's Rift. Or just do this one instance and you get fuck tons more than that. Beautiful. Gotta love new content. Oh, well, there's a journal up there. This was an oddly big, empty, uneventful room. The overbearing Masat has stopped following me now. They were only annoyed while I was in there, touching stuff.
There you are. Wait! It was headed for that gate. And I see people over there. Maybe they saw something I missed.
Oh yeah, it's weird. People are here. Okay, so in the open world, they explained that this door is shut, and it's not Masart magic, it's something else keeping it shut. What's this journal? Yeah, okay, and this was the Caudicus crew. But something bad happened, that dark brown stain. They were being led by a voice. Okay, look. This Mist's gate that they found and they brought here, I think it started mist burning everyone, infecting their minds. But I think there's a real malevolent force there. I think there is a specific entity speaking to them. It's referred to in this journal. So who is that entity? What is that entity? That basically brought about the downfall of the Masart. And it's not Abaddon. I mean, you might have made that argument way back when, during the Titan Crisis. I mean, it would have made a lot of sense for it to be Abaddon. But no, because the voice is still here. We all heard it this time. It told us where to find the gate. Perhaps it's the unseen ones that guide us, but we'll venture inside and then they got killed somehow. It's like you've got the Door of Kamali with Abaddon and the Titans behind it bursting to get out, and then there's this mist gate with something bursting to get out. Maybe just a different Titan, a different foundry. Because remember, this has got to hook all back into Ura and co. All this in a roundabout way has got to explain the current Titan issue. There are new Titans around, and I really don't think they're going to be from the Realm of Torment. I just feel like that's a weird story, you know, like, we dealt with Abaddon, we didn't see it on screen, but we dealt with the Domain of Anguish. I mean, we played it as, like, essentially raid content, right? We dealt with this stuff, alright? Cormyr took over the realm, the Redeemed Realm. We went there in Path of Fire. It's a big, beautiful library with flying books instead of birds. And yes, Cormyr and co, they've now left, and it's empty. Just as the underworld was empty for Desmina to rise into, right? That realm is empty. But I have to assume that over the past 250 years since Nightfall, when Cormyr made it the Redeemed Realm, she got rid of some of that heinous shit. I have to believe that Cormyr's not a complete moron, and she, like, cleaned the place up a bit. It just feels very weird for it to be like squatters have gone in and now they've relit the original forge. There's just something circular and off about it. I just don't think it's a good story. Not to mention, right, if these new Titans are coming from the gate, not the Door of Kamali, the gate, if they're breaking out of that and then we say that's the realm, then what's that story? The Door of Kamali leads to the Realm of Torment over at the Fire Island chain, but then the Masart get a gate which also led to the Realm of Torment. It doesn't work. It's just a weird, circular, convoluted story in that way. I just can't buy it. I think it has to be a third location. I don't know. Or there's something Niosian going on with this, and it could in some way, you know, make Paether a bit more interesting. I don't know, and connect to last year's plot. I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. Here we go.
Did either of you see a wisp floating nearby?
Hi.
A brief flicker caught my eye's corner, but it vanished before I got a closer look.
I'm afraid I was too focused on my work to notice it. This gate's taken up my full attention since we arrived.
Any progress on entry?
Not yet. All I can tell so far is that the gate doesn't seem to be Masart magic. The force sealing it is on a power scale all its own. So is the distance the enchantment covers.
I'll be surveying nearby. Keep me updated.
Keep kindled your life fire, Wayfinder. The dark is Death's watchman.
The dark is Death's watchman. Oh my lord. In chat, someone says Menzies, Mengus. Wayfinder closer to me. Is Garen's here? Wow. Is it a Menzies thing? Because, and that's an interesting point as well. There's another entrance to the mist. There's loads of them. The thing that's really weird about this is Lord Audron made portals. He made entrances to the mists. Right? Like there was one in the Tomb of the Primeval Kings. Anyway, after Varesh died, which admittedly was after the Titans wipe out the Masart, and then moments later Varesh dies, essentially, on a broad scale. But there's that as well. Anyway, in Path of Fire, we see that there are forged coming out of that. There are four... I'll show you on screen. I did this recently. Here, guys, in this is where Varesh died, right? And there's an entrance to the Realm of Torment. That's where we go in Nightfall to finally beat Abaddon. You don't go in through this. You don't go in through the Prophecies location. A new location opens. You beat Varesh. You think she's the final boss. Oh no, there's a whole other arc in hell. Anyway, when you get here in POS, so 250 years, there's a fucking rip. There's a hole there. And you'd think that should just be nice and clean and easy and there shouldn't be any problems because it leads to the Redeemed Realm, right? But no, there's all like forged coming out of it. So what does that mean? People have thought maybe there's something Menzies related going on there. I don't know. But like, if you're the Messiah and you're stuck on this realm, why not just, you know, go here, like to the Lord Origin place, go to the Tomb of the Primeval Kings or wherever else. It feels to me like there has to be more to their exile. There has to be something tethering them here in a more permanent way. And this Mist Gate, possibly from the gods or something, is... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, they just reiterate any progress on entry. Not yet. All I can tell so far is that the gate doesn't seem to be Masat magic. I mean, it's kind of like a forged-y, fiery looking effect, isn't it? It's going to be like Season 3 again, guys. But suddenly, Menzies! Instead of, Balthazar. You know, every time I see... Oh, whatever. Let's just keep going. Keep kindled your life fire. Right, Isgarin, what you got for me?
Wayfinder. Anise said you found another wisp. She's busy fielding pressure from the Alliance about entering Bavanisos.
What do they expect her to do? We're trying everything we can.
We're at an impasse on all accounts. The wisp led right to the gate. Seems Mabon also wants us inside the city.
Of course he does. It's the epicenter of the Mersat's demise.
You say that as if the Mersat hadn't already anointed these grounds with their blood.
She's back.
Like a common household pest. I'm putting an end to this now.
And you wonder why we never got along. Hubris always was the downfall of your kind.
Alright, okay, so you're gone, boss pal. Yeah, because there's this weird thing going on here as well, like, what do we actually do to deal with these ghosts? Oh, you know what? There's this thing when you die, where does your spirit go? To the mists. But these Masat spirits are not going to the mists. Right? Maybe that's connected in some way. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? Maybe these ghosts still linger because they cannot move on. They cannot leave Tyria. That means there's basically a ghost epidemic of Masat here. That's why the place is filled. I think we've just nailed it there.
A child, an old medicine woman, and a champion past their prime. Would have been better off bringing that traitor friend of yours. Oh, right. I saw what happened to him.
Oh, she's great.
Kill her.
I need to kill her slowly, though, because if she's speaking, I don't want to miss dialogue. It actually looks like... Oh, fuck!
Your antics yet? I certainly have.
Expect me to fall to my knees, begging for death. A coward's end may suit Mabon, but it doesn't befit me.
You cower in shadow like a cockroach fearing light, fearing what it might reveal you for. A disgusting, worthless little vermin. Yet you deem Mabon the coward.
I don't see what was cowardly about it, by the way. Oh, you guys think it's just because they're tethered to the bloodstones? They can't... Okay, well, that makes more obvious sense.
You don't know what you're
Okay, so tell me what I'm up
I see
against.
it, and I'm not impressed.
If only you'd brought an old medicine woman to mend your
Yeah.
wounds.
I liked her little insult for wait, sorry. I liked her insult for us as well there, actually. Okay, down she goes. Good. The dialogue pace was brilliant there. There was basically no risk of me skipping anything.
This is exactly how the world will remember you, Yugon. I'll make sure of it. The heart of the obscure. Finish her now.
Right. Again, why? Channel the power of the heart of the obscure to destroy the spirit of Yugon once and for all. My fire Ellie's getting its licks in.
Arrogant enough to think she mattered and stupid enough to act as such.
You go away with insults I've always admired.
Because by
Mabon, guide us.
By using the heart, we're like untethering them from the bloodstones or whatever, right? Like with the other ghost earlier in the expansion. And so, oh, it's his ghost. Or his memory, I should say. Okay. Hey, dude. I thought this patch was going to be about revealing, like, seedy parts of his past, his history, you know? Remember, like, the last line of the story journal for the launch expansion said, Mabon's memory tarnished. What could it be? Well, he's not tarnished anything here, has he? He's just wandered around and explored the city. That's all we've got out of it. So if something like that's going to happen, I would assume it's going to be when I press F now. Ready? Witness Mabon's memory.
You've nowhere left to flee now. Who are... A Titan.
You found a Titan here?
Well, what are you waiting for? Going to kill me like you did the rest? I'm not sure I blame you. I might have done the same. Spare us all a lot of misery. Stop! Face me! There's nothing left inside. What's left?
Where?
He followed the Titan into Bavanisos after the city fell.
The Titan wasn't interested in
He
it.
never told me.
So we can't get into the city. Mabon chased a Titan into the city, and there's a mist gate.
Is that gate how the other strangers got here? The three we fought?
I assume so, Pokey.
It seems that way.
So, does that mean it's open?
Yes. And even my power can't disable the ward that blocks our path. Summon the Alliance.
I see why people say it's a lame patch, because it's like we're right in the middle of the action here, aren't we? I mean, it's a great stopping point. It is, because it's like, okay, the Alliance getting here, waiting for the door to open, because that's it, right? That's going to be the end. Woodland leather gloves. Alright, I'm immediately just going to defend this patch. I think it is a good patch. I think the thing is, guys, what you're upset about is not the patch. What you're upset about is the fact we only get content every 3 months, and it doesn't feel long enough, okay? Like, those are perfectly valid things to criticize. I don't think the story in this patch was bad at all. I think this was really well told. I think it's a valuable, important function of a broader story. I think that there's this instinct to chase, like, big adrenaline moments and shocks and twists and big badass bosses every single release, but that's a bad idea. It's just going to make the game feel like a really tacky, like, comic where we go through the same motions over and over. Sometimes, right, like, not every episode of a TV show has amazing bombshells. Sometimes they're set up, sometimes they're needed for the pace, right? I think it kind of might suck over the next 3 months or whatever, but if you come back to this game after a year and you play it all in one run, I think this feels perfect. It's just what the story is, right? And, you know, it's not got a big amazing twist, adrenaline boss fight moment or whatever at the end, because it's not called for, and I'm happy they didn't crowbar that in, all right? I think sometimes they're more simmering, the releases. But I think this was really good. I think for those of us who are into it and are reading all the supplementary material and are following the characters, I think this is good. It's good storytelling. I'm happy that they didn't try to, you know, like, do too much too little. See, when you look at a patch like this and you accuse it of doing nothing, What you're really saying is I want every patch to do something, and you're asking for Nyos patches. Oh, we're going to show an entire war of the dissident demon population rising up and doing battle against their aggressors. The story's too big. Remember what I don't know how much to take. I don't want to accuse them of being liars or whatever. Look, do you remember before, once Janthir Wilds, once Secrets of the Obscure ended, Arenanet did that retroactive post, right? And they didn't even say very much in it. Remember, this wasn't even that long ago. And they said, here are the things we learned about this expansion, and we're going to try and do better on the next expansion, remember? And one of the few things they talked about, they said the story was too big for the size of the patches. That's what they said. That was what they reflected on. This is a response to that. This is them acknowledging, look, it's a few instances in a new map. We're going to write a story appropriate for a few instances in a new map. This is what you get. I don't think you can then turn around and say, oh, nothing happened, blah, 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 blah. I think, look, the right amount of shit happened here than they had space for. And you know what they did put in is very well fleshed out. There's a lot of lore for it and so on. I think they made the right choice on this. Yes, it's not... Because the other side of it is like doing it like Season 3, right? Where you get the entire Crichton Civil War in the Head of the Snake release. Was that really good? Couldn't that have been more? It should have been more. It was too big of an idea. And here they haven't gone for too big of an idea. So I think it's fine. I like the patch. You know, I'm not going to say this is one of the all-time great moments of the story, because it's not, but it's not setting out to be. I think this is a competent, functional part of the story, and the game's better for having it. And I'm glad that they didn't try to go too big with it. So, but there are other criticisms, right? The quality of these actual fights, you know, the locations we're going to, the new assets that we get. Look, it's not, we're down to personal story level stuff, all right? The instances are not that much to write home about. They're not, all right? And I think those are totally fair criticisms. And would I like it to be longer? Yeah. Would I like to see more new assets? Yeah. Would I like this game to have more money and more funding and more talent? Yes, yes, yes. I'd like it. Who the fuck's going to sit there and say no? But it's not like productive, right? Like, I don't know. For us, it's not really constructive comment. We're getting what we're getting, right? Orini and Joko was your favourite part of the story? Again, though, that's a very good thing to talk about, right? Like, that moment is incredible, but it wasn't supported by enough stuff. It happened too fast. Joko we felt the impact of Joko in POF, but he wasn't really in POF, just the one scene, right, in the underworld. Just the one moment with Joko. Episode 1, he's missing, and it's like a mystery of him not even being around. And then he's barely in Sandswept. Joko was on screen for basically one patch, and then he got killed. It was too quick. You know, so the beats are good, but if the beats aren't supported by, you know... So I think it's fine. I think they're building up to stuff. I'm really excited about the next patch. I think that this has been way better than Nyos, and I think it's been way better. I think even the Mount Burial patch was good. So far, Janthir Wilds has done very, very, very well for me, I think. And I'm genuinely excited for Mini X-Pac 3. Let's read, well, let's speak to the NPCs here. Wayfinder, there's much for us to think about. And look, and half the problem with Guild Wars, okay, is like there's no like mid-core grind scene. By that I mean, like if you're into the raid CMs right now, you got some content on this release, and you'll have the LM next week, so you've got content. Cool. If you're not into those and you want regular PV, what are you doing? I mean, the lanes in the open world, I guess that's a thing. But I view that as a problem with the dismantling of dungeons and stuff like that. We're kind of getting into bigger topics here, really. But it's not the story's fault. I think as far as the story's concerned, they've done very well here. If the game is lacking and it feels like, fuck, I logged in for 1 hour and now I'm leaving again. Obviously, that's an exaggeration. I don't think you... I would never blame this story on that. I think the quality's there. None of the characters were insufferable. It was all brilliant for me. I mean, oh my god. Someone get me a fag. I need a smoke. That was very satisfying. Have I read the X-Pac 6 update? No. What? There's an Xbox 6 update? Hold on, let me read this here. Wayfinder, there is much for us to think about and to discuss. Is there something in particular you wished to speak with us about? How are you doing? How are you two doing?
I don't even know what to say. This just got a lot more complicated. What about you, Cub? I know this involves a lot of people and things you don't have history with.
Yeah, you lift out, bro, but you're amnesiac.
Well, it affects you, so it affects me. That's reason enough to care.
Yeah.
But it'll affect everybody eventually if we don't do something about it. What that something might be, no idea.
That's not on you to figure out. You helping us is enough. I'm grateful you're here. Worried sick every moment that you're gonna get hurt, but that comes with the job.
I'll do my best not to rile your nerves.
What if he does get hurt? That would be quite a shocker. That would be quite sad. By the way, you know how people say, like, the code and it's really hard to remember their names and all this? I love that. It's almost like Arenanet responding to that with a little flavor text here for him. Son of Stoic Older. Stoic Older wasn't in this patch, so just so that you remember. I like that. I think that's good. And she's a wizard of the Astral Ward. I think that should say ex-wizard of the Astral Ward, personally, but okay, no, she's still in it. Fair enough. Is Garen standing on his own? A lone wolf? Wayfinder. I'm sure you seek answers, but this day has been troubling. I will answer your most pressing question, but the rest must wait until I've taken some time. You know, he just immediately said, oh, I can't open the door. I think it would have been much more captivating to see him walk up to the door, try, and fail. So how nervous should we be about this gate?
How nervous should we be about this mist gate?
If Ura did not deceive and it sits open, then we must abandon caution for action. The race has begun. But another anxiety overcomes that at the gate.
Mabon?
I've scrutinized every conversation, every memory since the day I pulled that knife away from his throat. He was sullen when he returned from Bavanisos. And of course he was. He just observed the death of his people. But now I know that something remained untold. He hid something from me. Mabon, what happened? What did you do?
He's good voice acting. There's a lot of emotion in some of these lines. Genuinely, really good. So my thinking is, so it's interesting, the Titan wasn't interested in, so there's another piece of the puzzle to this story, which is why, like, the Titans are so angry with the Masat. It wasn't such a thing to really wonder about in prophecies and stuff. You know, the Titans barely spoke. It was almost trivia that they spoke in the first game. But here you've got Ura and Greer and Decima and stuff talking like a family or whatever. I think getting into their hatred of the Masat and why they did what they did and how they were directed in the way that they were would be really interesting. And they totally gloss over it, but sort of creak the door open to that conversation in that scene a minute ago. Mabon's there, it's a Titan. I mean, what is it? Is it just enraged and just going mad? Will it just attack any Masat on sight? Or is it a bit more calculated than that? How sentient are these things? And this was an example of the Titan didn't even give a fuck about Mabon. Did it know that Mabon was an exile? It just walked on in. It left him. What's the Titan hunting for, the remaining Titan? It's got to be related to Dada. It's got to be related to whoever he found that assassinated Manakaz. God. The 3-month gaps do suck, though, because I'm very into it right now, and I can tell you guys, in another 12 weeks, it's going to be like... There we go, we got this. 78 days. I'm going to have to remember very clearly. What were we doing? It is hard to enjoy stories in this way. Well, I can't click any of these for some reason. Oh, I have too much acclaim. Oh, shit. Did I just waste some acclaim? Oh, I'll tell you what. We have the quest, don't we? The Wayward Wisp quest license. So what's... On behalf of the Wizard's Vault, investigate rumors of a wayward wisp appearing within the mist-burned barrens. Where's it leading us? Has anyone played this? Can you guys tell me what this was like? We can get the Sky Sage's throne. There's the new Ward Knight armor. And yeah, we'll have to wait for the other ones. What? Anyone got any opinions or thoughts on the Wayward Wisp? So let's leave here. You recommend the missing scout? Sorry, what do you mean? Sorry, is it the same thing? Some people say it's an epic quest. I think it was nice. Okay, let me read this real quick here. I made use of my time by browsing the Grand and Nathaeum. Strict as they could be, the Massar had a refined sense of architecture based on the ruins. During my visit, I found some useful historical tomes. One book in particular gave context on Yagon, in her role in creating spectral agony, and also her role in killing the Seer leader, Sidoni. This was a major turning point in the war. Another tome, written by another Massar, painted an especially menacing picture of Isgarin. Having worked with him in the past couple of years, it can be easy to forget I'm working with the most powerful wizard in known history. I don't like that. I mean, I like the idea that he's really strong and powerful, but let's not be so definitive here, you know. What about the likes of Lord Odrin or other people off screen? Anyway, I satisfied my curiosity and cleared out various pests in the process. Afterwards, I sought to regroup with my allies. It was then that I caught a final glance of the Wisp as it sauntered right through the door to Barvanisos. Oh, I didn't even really realise that had happened. It went in. I mean, I know that the story established Mabon went in there. I just didn't see the moment. I chatted with some researchers examining the obstruction, but sadly, neither got a clear look at the Wisp. As I waited for my friends, I imagined the Wisp taunting me from just beyond the gate. Soon, Isgarin... So the question is, who's closed the door since then? Soon, Isgarin waiting Sora and Poised Arrow came to meet me outside the gate. Our reunion was interrupted by a chillingly familiar voice. It was a reminder of a menace yet to be dealt with, Yagon. The ghastly Massar crone showed no restraint or decency, which sowed the seed of her downfall. Tensions between her and Isgarin came to a head when she accused the late Mabon of cowardice. Infuriated by her callous words, we dispatched this wicked remnant once and for all. Wielding the heart, I sealed away what remained of her. With Yagon removed from the site, the Wisp appeared in the battle's wake. This time, we were met with a scene of Mabon, cornering the unseen presence of the previous memory. From the previous memory. In doing so, Mabon confirmed the fear had been in the back of my mind. There was another Titan. Oh, so are we saying the Titan assassinated Manakaz? What if Dada became a Titan? God, I don't even know where the implications of a comment like that. We watched as Mabon went so far as to challenge the Titan to kill him, but instead it fled into Barvanisos. Mabon pursued, and the memory ended. There we found ourselves, at the entry to Barvanisos, its gate unyielding before us, barring us from the answers awaiting us inside. See, you know, because the other thing about this patch is, right, like, we started this patch expecting to explore Barvanisos, and we're ending this patch expecting to explore Barvanisos. You know, it feels like not much happened, right? And I get that. But I think a lot did, actually. And when they introduce so many characters and names and ideas and stuff, it's important you get some time to linger with them. Cograth with the 5 memberships. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you, everyone. I'm really looking forward to getting this goddamn move done with, so I can just get back to being as regular as possible.
Did you hear that?
It's not been a great start to the year, has it, really? It's alright. So this is the quest here. Hello, Wayfinder. What can this humble archivist help you with? Okay, what's going on with this Wisp? Delightful, your help. Is this the same? This is the same person from the main expansion as well, with the Sky Spear quest, right? Your help would be much appreciated. My initial observations suggest our wandering Wisp is manifesting regularly within this region. Scouting parties have reported seeing the Wisp after battle. It seems to be drawn on interesting events. Perhaps a bit of heroism in the area may pique its curiosity. Complete events across the Mistburn Barren to draw forth it. So it's going to ask me to, like... So I've got to do 4 events. Yeah, the Falling Star was the last one. I mean, I'm interested in it. I am interested. I don't think I'll be streaming it today, though. Since we're pretty much winding down here. Right, what do you guys think? Anything I might have missed? Any thoughts? I'm scrolling up for comments. Bit of a Q&A if anyone's got any ideas. Is it possible? Brian says, is it possible that Mabon somehow opened the gate and rescued some of the Masat during the siege? No, I think the idea is that he came after it was over. I think they were quite clear that it's all over now. They're dead, and he's exploring the ruins. Oh, hello everyone. He restarted the foundry. Yeah, it's just I don't know if you were here a second ago. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's there's clearly a foundry. I mean, Ura talked about a foundry. I just think it's not the same one from Guild Wars 1. I think it's a different foundry somewhere else. That makes the most sense to me. But that's another thing. This patch hasn't explained that. You know, like expansion launch, we had Astral Ward people talking about how they were going to go check it out. Did we not get an update on that? I really feel like we should get an update on that. You know, like. So it feels a bit weird that the patch hasn't included anything about that. I'm suddenly quite excited, by the way. You know how after Mount Barrior came out, they had extra lore drop in a little intermediary patch? I love the thought that they might do that again. Because, like, the Bangar conversations, late Icebrood Saga, the Timey conversations, pre-AOD, the Goric conversations in Giada, all that shit was really good. And I think these patches would really do well with it. Unfortunately, all those examples I just gave were at periods where I really was kind of iffy about the story, but right now I'm super into it. I'd be so game for that if we were getting convos like that. I think part of the issue is Guild Wars 2 never leaves the player's POV. You can't give villains screen time without actually meeting them. So they're off screen until the last second and they immediately die. Yeah, until you get really well-written characters like Bangar, you know, people who aren't obviously against us from the off, and you get a bit into their minds and who they are. That's the thing, that I think that there's not enough like betrayal in Guild Wars, really. You know, any member of Destiny's Edge throughout the years, any member of Destiny's Edge 2.0, these were all candidates for characters that could act in their own way and eventually end up on opposing lines. And then you have excellent, great drama, but they've always seemed a bit leery about stuff like that. I mean, for all the criticism it got with the Bram arc, because it wasn't so much because it was us v Bram. It was the motivation for it and the sort of just the vibes of well, let's not get into goddamn Bram here. We're really canvassing way too many dramas and conversations here. Oh, Cameron says, WP, I'm glad you like this patch. Excited for you to see the side stories. Oh, thank you. Oh, God, it makes me very nervous to think people are watching. Thank you. I think it's been really good. Sorry, I'm scrolling back down here now. There is a cool side story quest with RPG mechanics. Where do you mean? The gem store one or a different one that I'm missing? Upon defeating Ura says, "Ha, she winces. The thread unravels. I sense celebration on your breath. Stifle it. For the door we came through sits wide open." Yeah, she must mean the Mist Gate. I think in this patch they've been very careful not to use the word door to refer to the Mist Gate so that people don't get confused. But back in that instance, they do call it a door still. Is the portal that was just blocked before us the portal to Bavanissos? Or is it to the Mists/Nios? You mean, so the door that is barred is the entrance to Bavanissos. But this is just the outskirts of the city. Within the city is a gate, a mist gate. And it's making people sick to be near it, and it's there's a creature that's whispering to people.
What do you think this building was used for? Sure doesn't feel welcoming.
Storage facility, maybe. Lot of places to get lost.
Storage facility for what? Food?
Oh, we heard that. I forgot. We listened to this right when we first got here.
Votive offerings for the bloodstone? Grooves on the floor where the cages were. Huh. Have you taken a good look at the stairs? They're worn smooth.
Oh, that thing about the stairs is interesting because they all float, don't they, right? Usually. Anyway, so achievements. I've got a lot of achievements to do. Of course, 2 of them are the adventures and getting higher tiers. Well, not 2 of them, a bunch of them are the achievements for the adventures. I think one of the lanes I haven't seen. It's pretty basic stuff. What's the final reward here? There is a back piece. The Salmon of Knowledge. Next patch is looking to be a big one, guys, in terms of the story. Like, holy shit, wait. It's the third and final one next, right? I can't believe it. There's going to be a map. There's going to be a legendary back piece. They're going to finish all this story and segue into the next mini-X pack. Next one's going to be big, guys. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. Compared to the Nio stuff last year, I'm so excited for this. It'll be interesting to see who put up the second ward, seeing as Mabon's ward fell when he died, so who's doing this now? Someone with access to a scrying either? Well, exactly, yeah, I think Dada or... we don't know what happened to Arrestas, did we? One or perhaps more than one of these other Massat, I think. The NPC says the area that the magic covers is really big. So it's an enchantment that covers the whole seat of Bavanisos. Yeah, so it's like Mabon kind of cast a wide net around it, right? Mabon was like, no one's coming around any of this. But more specifically, there's something blocking this gate here. And that thing of Isgaran can't bring it down kind of suggests, like, in terms of power scaling or whatever, it would be an ancient race like a Massat that's able to do, you know, hold them off. A lot have said it, but the side story we'd probably most recommend is Missing Scout. I mean, I will definitely be playing it all. The question is, guys, can I squeeze in another episode before the move or during the move? And I just don't know. I just don't know. Check out the double side quest, Missing Squad into Massat game. Guys, what I will do is I will put a post up in Discord, possibly a tweet on Blue Sky, and we will see. We'll see what we can do. Not tomorrow, but maybe the day after that. Yeah, actually, I might be able to get one. So we could do an extra one where we see this missing thing. Or those extra events can be the final lane. Could be pretty fun because a lot of that will be the open world. I can actually squad up and we can do it like all together as well. Should be fun. Should be good. Are you telling me we're going to find the last living Massat for the third time? Well, I think the writers have been pretty good recently at saying, you know what, there's a few Massat around there. You know, they've exiled themselves. Who knows how many there are in the far corners of the world. I feel like we're not in that place anymore.
She's gathering agony.
One of the journals you read said Orestes went with Dada West. Did it actually say they went off together? Did it really? I don't remember that. I remember there was a bit of an impression that maybe that is what had happened.
Alchemy.
If Mabon wasn't more powerful than Isgaran, and he went into Bavanisos so easily, then this current sealing magic is post-Mabon's death.
There are pockets of concentrated mist energy.
You're saying that like you're going to move an Imperial court to a new location? Well, no, it's just there's going to be no internet for a while. That's all. How does his game run so smooth? I would give you 2 amazing performance tips, which I'm not actually following at all right now. But shadows, turn shadows off or to low/medium, and turn reflections off. You get big savings here. Look, my frames aren't that good right now. They're bobbing around 60, but that's all I need to stream to you. So I give you 2K 60 FPS. So it's good enough. And culling as well. Just destroy culling. And you'll be alright. That's it, guys. That's it. I feel like it's been a shorter episode, and I guess because the truth is it has. We're only 2.5 hours in here. Thank you very much for everyone for watching. Thank you for the memberships. I will do my best that in 2 days I can get one last episode, and we'll do those extra quests. In the meantime, drop your comments and your thoughts, and then we'll have plenty of fuel for discussion and stuff as we go, and I'll just keep you guys in the loop as everything's happening. So thanks, guys. Hope you all had a good day. I'm loving the story right now, and I will see you all for the next one next time. Take care, guys. See you soon.